Good evening, my friend, and welcome to the Change.org 400 presented by XCAL Racing. My name is PDJ Zeller, the voice of XCAL Racing, and today we are getting ready to go 400 miles, 200 laps from the Irish Hills of Michigan. My name is PDJ Zeller. Alongside me, Doug Burns this evening. And Doug, this is the longest race mileage-wise, second longest race mileage-wise of the XCAL season. This is the same distance the Winston Cup guys run here, Doug.
Yeah, and given the way the All-Star race went last week, how close the racing was here, 200 laps, 400 miles, versus what they did last week, just 75 laps, 150 miles, this might get a little bit crazy tonight.
So it's certainly there for this one to get out of hand. But we're curious to see how it's going to end up breaking down. And we're going to take a moment here pre-race to talk to a few guys. One guy I do want to get a word in here real quick as we try to get him corralled over here on the pit road is the All-Star race winner, Blake Wynn. And Blake, you're talking to PD up in the booth now. Blake, you're coming off the All-Star race win. First off, I want you to tell us how's it feel a week later now, still being the winner of the XCAL All-Star event? You know, a league with so many great drivers, and you won the All-Star race.
It really set in after the event that I won the All Star, and I'm along with only one other driver that's won it, and it's like a worldwide league. It's not just in the nation, and it's adults and stuff. And the fact that a kid was able to win it made it even better for me.
Well, now we're back here racing for the real thing, points racing. And it's weird to say this, you've won the All-Star race, but you still have not gotten your first career win in XCAL. So now we're here at the plate track where you won just a week ago in the All-Star event. Tell me, this is such a hard place to win because of the kind of crapshoot nature of it, but do you feel like you learned anything from the All-Star win that might help you get back to victory lane tonight?
Yeah, I definitely learned how the track drives and what the strategy of the track is, and really how to avoid some of the wrecks here.
All right. Well, Blake, congratulations on the win once again, and good luck getting through the field tonight.
Thank you. I got one more thing to say that I forgot to say after the All Star.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'd like to thank More Polish Pottery for sponsoring this car the whole year. I know I didn't have that paint on that day, but I've ran it every other race and plan to run it a lot more. And they've really sponsored our team to everything that it has been.
All right. Well, thank you, Blake, for the sponsor shout out there. And Doug, he won what was a very exciting All Star race finish there. And now, Doug, I believe we're going to get you to have a quick word with the second place finisher from the All Star race, Matthew Barrett.
Hey, Matt, congratulations on your second place finish last week. Are you going to be able to pull off the win here tonight? A lot of wild racing last week. Do you think that's going to happen again tonight?
Yeah, we'll just have to see how we go. I expect it to start off hopefully easy in the beginning and nobody wants to push, but you never know. Plate races, anything can happen, but definitely at the end it's going to be very pushy and touchy. Everybody's going to be on the edge trying to get as much as they can, and hopefully we can just keep it together for 200 laps.
Now, do you have any kind of change in strategy for tonight versus last week, or is it just full send and go for it again?
We go chill for a little bit. Nothing to gain for the first 150, 170 laps, so just try to survive right here. I may fall in the back. I may just ride in line right here. I'm just going to try to find somewhere comfortable to not push it and not get any situations I don't want to be in.
All right, man. Well, 200 laps. Take it easy for part of it, and good luck to you.
All right, man. I'll see you tonight in the winner's circle.
10-4.
All right. That was Matt Bear, finisher's second place last week. And now I am going to try to catch a quick word in with Marty Zakala, who was actually calling the All-Star race action with me last week. Marty, I got to ask you, you ran really good in the heat races. You won the pole for the first two heat races, and then you finished third in a photo finish in the second heat race. Or actually, I think you finished second in that heat race. And I got to ask you, Marty, were you able to learn anything from broadcasting the races last week that helped you race so well on the track yesterday?
Yeah, absolutely. There, PD. I did place third in my heat. Something I learned from not just the second heat, but also the first heat as well. You really want to try and avoid above the extreme low line, just where the apron is. I think you have to go to the second line. That's where the fastest line's going to be. That line on the bottom is very slick, very slippery, especially on a hot track where you could definitely get loose and spin the car out and end your day. My game plan, meanwhile, I'm going to stay in the back of the pack just to be safe throughout the first 150, 175 laps. Then I hope to be with the lead pack at the end. I love super speedway racing. It's my favorite kind. I'm very good at it. I know how the drafting works here, which lines are good, and who to push well and who can push me. So I think this is going to be a good show for the number 03 RS and Trackside Machine. Special thanks to Big Block Motorsports, Rock Sports Network, Bob Johnson Auto Group, and Lattimore.
Thank you for catching word with me there. That's Mark XCAL, like you said, in the O3
Absolutely.
tonight. And
man.
now, Doug, a quick word. I think you have our in-car reporter tonight, Pat Sullivan.
Hey Pat, we're hearing a couple of guys saying they're going to take it a lot easier this week than they did last week. Hang out in the back a little bit. What's your strategy going to be?
No, I'm going for it. I'm going to lead the most laps that I can, stay out front of all the trouble.
And we did see a lot of wild racing, a lot of four wide battling. If you get in those situations where you are four wide, what can we expect from you? You going to back out of it? Or are you going to keep your foot in it and take the chance?
No, I'm going to keep my foot right in it. We're going to take the chance. We're going to do everything we do to stay out front of it.
All right, man. Well, best of luck to you, and good luck.
All right, Doug, that is our in-car reporter tonight, Pat Sullivan. We'll be checking in with him all evening long. As we're about 3 minutes away from grid here, looking in practice, the guy on top of practice so far, Gregorio Maliano Dorso, actually only making his third career XCAL start today. He's driving a second car for Octavio Rondoletto. Octavio occasionally will enter a second car. This week, Doug, he felt like at the Super Speedway, and I know Octavio is one of your favorite drivers, Doug. You always love watching him come through the field. Octavio, like I said, will occasionally enter the second car. He entered it this week, and you got to think, Doug, maybe Octavio was looking for some friends on a Super Speedway.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He's not had a lot of friends lately. It's been a case of a lot of bad luck for Octavio in recent weeks, but I think putting a second car out there, somebody he knows is going to work with him, and somebody that if they get separated, they can at least communicate what's going on the track, I think will be huge for Octavio, and I think, Gregorio, the one question that we had last time he was in a race at Texas Road, he's in Germany, so it's really late at night there, or early in the morning actually, if I did my math right, and he's going to be a little bit tired out there as well. So we'll see if that plays into his run tonight. But judging what I've seen from Gregorio, I think Octavio made the right choice as a second driver.
Disagree. And Doug, one thing I want to point out here too is this racing, the pack racing, this isn't quite beautiful like the NASCAR Cup Series when they go to Talladega. This is a bumpy old track. This is the old Michigan, got to remember, before it got paved. There's a lot of bumps and curves in this track. The cars wobble all over the place. They go 3 and 4 wide, and these cars are getting sideways. They're getting loose. This is a lot more of like a war zone out there, Doug, compared to anything beautiful. And it truly will be a war zone for 200 laps that you got to survive, always just one mistake away from pure death.
Yeah, we saw a lot of that last week. It got really bumpy, and when they get four wide, I mean, we're seeing a lot of guys out there in practice that the car's a little bit loose as they get into the turns. They come off the turns, it's a little bit loose, and add the bumpy factor in there. And when you're three wide, it doesn't take, and four wide, it doesn't take much of a bump to send you up into the guy next to you, and that could start the big one. We saw a couple of big ones in the All-Star race last week, and I honestly fully expect to see a lot more insanity before this night is out, but that's also going to be the key. Pat Sullivan said he's going to stay up front no matter what. Staying out of trouble, surviving, and being patient is going to be the key tonight.
One thing I do like is staying up front. Here's my logic. I feel like the best racers are typically at the front of the field. The guys that are most comfortable racing with this squirrely setup are towards the front of the field because they want to get up there and race. I almost would argue the front is the safest place because that's where the most talented, most comfortable drivers are.
And you're probably right. As they grid up, you see Gangler up front, McRae.
Actually, we can go through the full starting grid here. Might as well. We have starting on pole position, winning his first career XCAL pole by winning heat race number 3 is Alex Gangler, the number 82 Gas and Go Motorsports machine. In second is the 06 of Big John Friley. In third is the number 99 Tyler McRae. Fourth is the 96 of Mason Foster. Fifth is the 23 of Sean Andrews. Two of those J&S cars winning heat races starting fourth and fifth. Watch out for them. Sixth place is Luke Turpin in the 454. Seventh is Matthew Bear in the number 19. 8th is the number 2 of Brandon Varney, 9th is the 48 of Jordan Babinger, and 10th is Mike Stoddard. 11th is the weapon Tyler Jalbert, 12th is the 03 of Marty Zakala, 13th is the 22, that is Heather Patrick, 14th is the 16 of Pat Sullivan, 15th is the 61 of Greg Holes, 16th is Kenny Tripp in the 12, 17th is Gregorio Emiliano Dorso, 18th is Chris Spangler in the 29, 19th is the 81 of Blake Wynn, the All-Star Race winner, and 20th is Trevor Birchmere. 21st is Jose Gaudino, 22nd is Art Hendren, 23rd is Robert Colgan, 24th is Johnny B, 25th Jeff Edgar, 26th Ron Walters, 27th German driver Rafael Semprich, 28th Joe Campbell, 29th Paul Coleman Jr., and 30th Christopher Johnson. 31st Shane Briggs, 32nd Dwayne Robinson, 33rd Derek Colson, who just became XCAL's all-time career leader in starts. 34th making his XCAL racing debut is Joseph Lester, 35th Tyler Batchelder, 36th Octavio Rondoletto, 37th Chase Johnson, 38th John Schwartz, 39th Kendrick Cryer, 40th Logan Jones, 44th Kyle Streichart, or 41st is Kyle Streichart is making his return to the series. 42nd is the winner from Rockingham earlier this year, Aiden McConaughey, and riding shotgun on the field, starting in 43rd in this full 43-car field, is Jeremy Leto in the 17-car, Doug.
Yeah, a full 43-car field here tonight. This is going to get a bit wild, especially on this start. They're all going to be packed up extremely close to each other, and I expect, hopefully we won't see any chaos early in the race, but 43 cars trying to occupy the same real estate, drafting, bumping, banging. Yeah, it's going to get a little dicey.
Well, here they come down through corners 3 and 4. It's Alex Gangler with his first career pole, and this is going to be the biggest start of his career. A big moment here for Alex Gangler as he leads this field down to green. The iRacing Chevy Silverado pace truck is going to make that hard left-hand turn into the pits. Field is now at the mercy of Alex Gangler. Here they come, 43 of the best in the business, getting ready to duel for 200 laps. Green flag in the air, they're down and away, and Gangler gets going. I think Big John might have missed a shift, and now Gangler might have missed a shift as a little bit of a rough start there. Everyone's all stacked up. You see him doing the caterpillar through the field, but they get kind of worked out.
Yeah, off into turn 1. Everybody's still in 2 lines. We got a few guys starting to peek around, but for the most part, through the field, everybody's staying pretty calm. They're going to let these tires get a little bit of heat in them before they get too dicey. Obviously, it's a bit different than the All-Star race last week. We saw a lot of guys already pushing to the limit by the time they came down the back straightaway, and I think we'll see. Go ahead.
I was sorry to interrupt you, Doug. We had one car let off already. That was Marty Zakala in the 03. They're side by side for the lead. They both want to lead lap 1 on the outside. It is Gangler. On the inside, it's McRae. Who's going to get back to the stripe first? Gangler with the momentum, McRae on the low side. It's going to be this close every lap. I shouldn't get too excited for lap 1. In a 3-wide finish, they touch doors. Gangler leads lap number 1 by 15 1/1000ths. But now Bear goes down to the low side. He wants the lead early on in this thing, and he is going to clear both of them, give the lead to the Mad Bear. Matthew Bear takes the top spot.
And I do believe hearing Matt Bear say he was going to take it easy early on, and I think he might have been psyching out his opponents because here he comes to the front, and he is not taking it easy. And we're on lap 2. They're 3 wide at the front. They're 3 wide mid-pack. They're 3 wide at the back. So everything is going to get to, in the chat, Cody Young said it's going to get dicey. I think we're already at dicey.
Yeah, now in the middle, Tyler McRae has his teammate Jordan Babinger, who's right in the thick of the championship battle as Babinger. He is pushing McRae now, so a little bit of help there. And on the low side, Mason Foster has come to help Matthew Bear. This time by the stripe, Gangler's going to lead once again. That third lane left all alone just with Alex Gangler. He's making it work up there on his own as these guys are going door to door right now for this lead here on the opening laps of this race. I'll be honest, I knew they were going to race for this thing early. I thought maybe 2 wide. They're thinking 3 wide. As Alex Gangler in that 82, he won the pole, Doug, and it seems like he's really out here to prove a point today.
Yeah, he is definitely going to go for it. We heard a lot of guys talking pre-race and in the previous days about being patient and taking it easy early, letting things settle in. I think they all forgot it when the pace car drove off, and I do believe we're seeing full send here all night long if we're seeing it this early. They come down to complete lap 3 with Tyler McRae, got a nose in front. He's going to take – no, he's not. Matt Bear takes it at the line.
7 1/1000ths Matthew Bear. They're still 3 abreast for the top spot. Update one car, Paul Coleman Jr. in the 18. He was on the starting grid, but that car wouldn't fire. They couldn't get fuel in the carburetor. They've pushed it into the garage area. They're trying to get it to start now as they get really close for the lead. The Coleman 18 car, though, is yet to report to the track. Matthew Bear is going to pull off now. He pulls down to the bottom lane. And Doug, I think he might have actually just wanted the bonus points for leading the lap there. I think that might be exactly what it was, as he's just going to fall back now.
Yeah, he definitely was just getting those bonus points in. He is trying to get...
Oh, McRae! Oh, he saved it, Doug. I apologize for interrupting you, Doug, but McRae almost lost it.
And I do believe you're right about Gangler. He is... he's just trying to score a couple extra bonus points here. McRae saving it, but I think we're going to see more and more of this as the race goes on. We saw a little bit of it last week where it doesn't matter if tires are cold, hot, new or old. These cars, you mentioned it in pre-race, this track is bumpy, it's difficult, and these guys are sliding all over the place. And a car to watch right now, Mike Stoddard now in the mix. He has picked up 5 spots. He started in 10th. He's up to 5th, and he's got a little help making his way forward.
Yeah, that time by it was a dead heat at the start-finish line. They ruled it a tie, but they officially gave the lap to Alex Gangler, but it was 0-0-0 across the board at the line, so it couldn't get any closer than that, Doug, that time by. Gangler with the lead. He's going to lead this one, it looks like, straight up, as now he has a challenge to the inside. That's going to be the 40, or the 99 of Tyler McRae, excuse me. McRae's going to lead that lap, so McRae gets his bonus points for leading a lap. Let's see if he chooses to stay up there now. As Mason Foster now races at the inside of Gangler. That's for second and third. Mason Foster, kind of new to XCAL. I wouldn't say new. He has a top 5 finish in that 96 car in his first race just 2 weeks ago at Lanier. And Mason Foster also had a top 10 racing. And yep, now we're going to see McRae pull off. But Mason Foster also had a top 10 early on in his, or a few weeks ago as well, racing a big block motorsports car. But now he got signed to a full-time ride in that 96, Doug. And that 96 of Mason Foster, we're going to see him in that car for the rest of the year. He's been getting quicker and quicker every week, and he has to feel like the super speedway race might really be a chance for him to have that breakthrough week and get the win.
Well, he did make a power move down to the bottom, and now he's going to try and make another one up. He's going to try and get a lap lead. He's going to show he deserves to be here. But speaking of deserving to be here, somebody I just noticed, Chase Johnson is currently in 16th. He started in 37th. He has made his way all the way forward, and he has brought with him the winner at Rockingham, Aiden McConaughey, started in 42nd and now up to 18th. So these two guys, we're going to have to watch them closely as they start to make their way up into the top 10. Chase Johnson's now up to 14th. Meanwhile, back up front, Mason Foster now is securely in the lead. Can he hold it off till the line? Though with Gangler there looking to the outside, it'll be interesting to see if he can get to the line and get the points.
Let's see. Gangler fights back, though. I think Gangler might be thinking, I can get that most laps led award today. Gangler on the outside. He's going to have it at the stripe this time. It's Gangler once again. Gangler leading a lot of these early laps. And you know, Doug, for a car, Gangler, he's usually a mid-20 runner. That Gas and Go team, they really struggle at finding speed on the short tracks. It's a small operation. Not a lot of guys in the shop helping them. Not a lot of affiliates helping them make the chassis. They're just happy to get top 20s week in and week out. These super speedways, these more Polish pottery cars, they really want to be up at the front of the field and showing off those sponsors and showing that, hey, you know, when things are equal, we're just as good.
Yeah, and while you were saying that, they were 5 wide coming out of turn 2. Varney, Wynn, Johnson, Jailbert, Luke Turpin, a whole slew of them from about 7th place on back. They were going 5 wide coming off turn 2. But you're right, the super speedways tend to be the great equalizer here, and this is definitely an opportunity for some of these smaller teams to get some points here, get some showing for their sponsors, and get their teams looked at and maybe grow a little bit.
Wow, look at that. 3 wide they are back there racing for position. That's Aiden McConaughey on the high side. Chase Johnson started 37th. He's up 8th. McConaughey started 42nd. He's making the pass for 9th now. Those are the 2 Hell in Our Racing teammates, Doug. Those cars' teammates both started 37th or worse. They're already up on the top 10 before lap number 10. And you got to be thinking here, Doug, that the strategy for the Hell in Our Racing team this week is just go balls to the wall, because that's exactly what Chase Johnson and Aiden McConaughey have done here in the opening laps.
Yeah, when Aiden McConaughey first started and he got his first win, he was talking about how much he liked working with this Halinar team, and now here he is. Him and his teammate have got things worked out. They came through the field together. They're obviously working together really, really well, and they are now both in the top 10. They're running 8th and 9th. Those Halinar cars definitely got something for the super speedways tonight.
We really haven't talked about in this lead pack, Sean Andrews out of JNS Racing, as they go 3 wide for the lead. Here we go. Stoddard down low, Gangler in the sucker hole, Foster on the high side. Foster with all the momentum down the backstretch. Foster, I think he's going to clear Genghis. He will clear Genghis. Will he come down? He won't. Genghis uses the side draft to make it even once again. Stoddard on that low side. The guy with the highest I rating in the field, Stoddard, is about 7,000. Off the corner, Gangler gets the momentum on the high side. He has the run on Stoddard, and he is ahead of Foster. He goes to throw a block on Foster. Foster's going to hang on to it. It's going to be really close to the stripe this time by. I don't know who that was. It might have been Stoddard. It was Stoddard by 23 1,000ths. Awfully close in the 3-wide finish. Last thing I want to say, though, is that 23 car right now, running 8th right now on the high side in that third line, Sean Andrews, yes. He started 5th. He's still running up the top 10. That is a teammate to Mason Foster. So let's see if we see those two cars start to work together, as now Tyler McRae is going to pull off again.
Yeah, and it looked like the 28 might be pulling off there, briefly coming through 1 and 2. I know the 82 jumped up to the high side and let several cars go by here. I don't know if he's going to lead the most laps here, but now you got the Halinar boys coming around him and starting to make their way up here to get some bonus points. Mason Foster looks like he is finally going to get that lap. Leading a lap and get himself some bonus points here, as they are 3 wide right behind him, and these guys are not being patient or careful about.
They get so dicey. Doug. Oh my goodness, they all save it, Doug. I don't know how they did it.
I don't know either. They were 4 wide there for a moment, and nobody was giving an inch here, and that's what we're talking about. They are not playing nice out there. They are not being patient. We heard them say early on, several drivers say, hey, we're going to be patient. It's a long race. You mentioned it's the second longest race of the season, but here they are. They are not thinking about it. They're trying to win it every single lap.
Really crazy there. And now Sean Andrews is going to come up to the high side in that 23 car. And let's see if he makes a move here. It's going to be Blake Wynn, the All-Star race winner, leading his first lap. And all the craziness, we kind of missed that. Wynn worked his way through the pack, and Wynn is now leading. As here we go, McConaughey uses a heck of a side draft. He gets a big run, and he's going to shoot up to the high side now. He side drafts with the 81 of Wynn. He's trying to get up there and take the lead. As now Alex Gangler is going to go around Sean Andrews. Looks like Andrews just letting off a little bit there. Off the corner, it is going to be McConaughey with the advantage over Wynn down the backstretch. Now you have Foster up on the high side and Chase Johnson. Doug, one thing I want to note here. Chase Johnson in that 57 car, the winner of the USA earlier this season, Doug, is actually racing with the flu today. He is very sick. He asked to not be interviewed. He said he's not feeling well at all, and I could just hear it in his voice. That kid is definitely very sick. So he is not feeling well, but he has driven that car up from 37th to a chance for the lead here as they go at it.
I bet he's starting to feel a little bit better right about now. They are bumping coming across the line. Chase Johnson giving the 81 of Blake Wynn a little bit of a push. His teammates right there on the high side. But yeah, I'm betting he's feeling a little bit better up here running 4th right now, in the position to take the lead and get some bonus points. We'll see if he hops up, if he decides to help his teammate there. As the 81 drops down, he's going to drop back now after leading a lap.
Probably the best decision right there for Wynn. I agree, getting off of it there. You don't want to do anything too crazy. The Dropping Bombs teammates have kind of calmed down. They're running back with Brandon Varney, Tyler Jalbert, Luke Turpin. The second pack looks content to just run there, Doug. Like, we have these 5 or 6 cars going for the lead right now, and the rest of the field just seems to be okay with chilling right now. I think you're going to see everyone in that second pack maybe make a run it and try to lead a lap. 200 laps is a long time, Doug. These guys are going to have a ton of time as they go 3 wide for the lead. Genghis goes back in that third line once again. But, Doug, this laps is a long time. All those cars in that second pack will have time to make a run up to the front and try to lead a lap. And I think that's what you're going to see them do more patiently, though. I don't think you see them all try to do it at once.
No, my bet is there's probably some agreements. You see a lot of teammates in that second pack, and I'm guessing that there's a couple of agreements out there that they'll help each other work their way up and at least get that bonus point for leading a lap. We've got 43 cars on track tonight. It would not surprise me to see the vast majority of them get a lap led in the first half of this race, whether it be by strategy, under caution, or however the situation, or just driving through and getting up there, as it looks like the 82 is now going to get another lap led. It would not surprise me to see that.
No, he has been racing for the lead more so than anyone, but here comes Chase Johnson to his outside. The sick kid goes up there. Johnson trying to make a move in that 57 Helen iRacing team car. In that Johnson 57, he does get the run of momentum off the corner. Let's see if he gets some help. Foster gets right up to his bumper, and Foster's going to make it 3 wide going all the way up to the high side. Gangler's going to hang with the inside lane. I thought he was about to get cleared there by the 57, but he's not quite clear in the middle, wasn't Johnson. And now he has his Helen iRacing teammate back on his bumper. They go through 3 and 4. Up the middle, Chase Johnson trying to lead his first lap of this race. That 57 car's up there in the points battle. This leading a lap would mean a good deal to the 57. Here they come back towards the start-finish line. It's going to be awfully close, but it's going to be Foster on the high side leading that lap, so Johnson still has yet to lead a lap. As we still have about 6 or 7 cars racing for the lead, then the next pack is a little bit more respectful. They're kind of just riding.
Yeah, and interesting to note that the 81 and 82 are teammates, and then you've got Chase Johnson and Aiden McConaughey there, teammates in the middle. So you've got 2 sets of teams up here trying to make sure their teammates and their whole team gets to lead a lap here. We'll see what happens. Do what?
I was saying it's 3 sets of teammates, too. The J&S guy's on the high side.
Oh, yeah, you are correct. So you've got 3 sets of teammates here working together. It's going to get very, very interesting to see which you're really going to be able to tell which line is working right now. As clouds come over the track, that's going to cool it down, and the teammates split a little bit there. The 57, oh my gosh, they get very close. Looked like the 57 might have actually got up a little too soon. He wasn't quite clear, got into the 96 just a little bit, but everybody saved it, and now he's letting his teammate jump up there and get the lead in the 85.
And McConaughey, I don't believe McConaughey's led a lap yet. He might have. There's so many guys who've led a lap already, Doug. I'm kind of forgetting who has led what. But McConaughey may or may not have. I know that everyone else up there, except for Andrews, has. That 23 car still would like to lead a lap. On the low side, though, Gangler trying to lead a lot of early laps. Remember, Doug, with the nature of this race, it might only be 20 laps. That's the most laps led in this race. You might not have to lead a ton tonight. So Gangler leading a lot of these early laps, they could add up.
Oh yeah, they definitely could. I mean, with everybody, with the lead swapping almost every other lap, him picking up the laps he has so far, if he just continues to pick up, let somebody lead one lap and then he gets another one. Let somebody else lead. As long as it's somebody different that leads in between his laps, he's going to continue to pick up the most laps here. And it's definitely going to be interesting to see if he can continue to do that all night, how many laps he ends up leading when this thing's all said and done. Wow, the 85 pulled way down there.
Yeah, they both have led a lap. I saw Chase Johnson drop back. Looks like McConaughey may be considering the same now that they both led laps, although McConaughey doesn't seem like he's going to let off now. Gangler comes up the middle. It's going to be Gangler and Foster close to the stripe. McConaughey on the low side doesn't have any momentum. Gangler has the nose ahead. Big run on the outside now from Foster, though. Foster in that far outside lane gets a run, but it's going to be Gangler leading another lap. The pole sitter, Alex Gangler, has certainly led the most of the laps here in the first 20. I'd say he's probably led about 12 to 13 of them. As we have a car starting to emerge now from the second pack. It's the 2 of Brandon Varney in 6th right now, and he's that first car out of the second pack. I'll be curious if we see the 2 of Varney get up here and get races. We have a car get loose. It's Greg Holes on the apron there, Doug. Let's see if maybe we can get a replay and see what happened. There's a dicey moment with Greg Holes.
Yep, trying to get that pulled up real quick. Looks like he got a little bit of a tap. It looks like from the 20 or the 14 got a tap from the 22, came down and got a hold of Holes there. That was a bit sketchy. We're starting to see these guys get a little bit more aggressive now.
Yeah, thankfully no harm, no foul there. Back up front, though, the battle for the lead is close, but it's Foster at the stripe that time as they are still 3 abreast for that top spot. The battle has not simmered down at all, and really, I thought maybe you'd see a couple of these guys from the second pack choose to join this battle, but it appears no one is really making that a stout of an effort right now. Everyone's just riding. Although one guy who's a voice or name I'm going to say for the first time so far, Doug, the 15 Dive Bomb Motorsports machine, Kendrick Pryor. He's up to 9th. He started 39th. So Pryor has made his way up through the field as well as some of these Hell and Our Racing team cars. And also Pat Sullivan's up to 7th now after starting 14th. We heard him say he wants to run up front today.
Yeah, I was just looking at that when you were saying that. Kendrick Cryer has made a heck of a charge, coming up 30 spots from the start to get himself inside the top 10. I fully expect to see him up there getting some laps led here before too long. Pat Sullivan making his way through the field pretty quickly as well. He started in 14th. He's up to 8th. He's one of those that's coming through the field just a little bit more slowly, just a little bit more cautiously, but he is steadily working his way up to the front. He's in this top group now, and it looks like that gap between the lead group and the second group looks like everybody is kind of starting to close back up. That lead group is getting bigger and bigger every lap, and that's when we're at 22 laps into this thing. Things are going to start getting really, really exciting if this group continues to grow at the front.
The 200-lap race, I hope they can keep their cool, but I know they'll get impatient after too long. That's the thing. The race car drivers, they will get impatient. Up front, though, on the high side, all by himself, it's Aiden McConaughey. On the low side, it's Alex Gangler close to the stripe, but it's going to be Gangler again. Gangler continues to lead laps here, leading a lot of these early ones. And like I said, for a car that's battling on the verge of the top 20 in points, and the top 20 means so much in XCAL racing, he really would use these bonus points. They really could help out that Gas and Go Racing team. And for this Gas and Go Racing team, once again, their sponsor, morepolishpottery.com, they must be, or morepolishpottery.com, excuse me. They must be so happy to see that we have these two cars running right up front right now. And Blake Wynn already won the All-Star race. It's already been a great weekend for Gas and Go Racing. And for Gas and Go Racing, they continue to lead.
Yeah, Aiden McConaughey's kind of up there by himself now. These two teammates on the bottom, they're just taking it easy. I have noticed something though. They are switching positions every so often. They trade spots on who leads. That allows Gangler to save a little bit of fuel. He only drops behind Wynn for about a lap, and then he hops back up front. But he's done it about 3 times now in the last 24 laps. So we'll see if that continues to go on. Obviously, fuel mileage not going to be a huge deal here. Everybody's going to pit on the same strategy, about 67 to 70 laps, or 65 to 70 laps, excuse me. And I think we'll see some of these guys will save a little bit more fuel, probably stretch it out. The 85 got way loose coming out of 4.
He did. He hangs on to it, though. Let's go back through some of these guys riding in the second pack right now. You have Tyler McRae in the 99, a 4-time winner this season, Luke Turpin, Jordan Babinger, Tyler Jalbert's hanging out in that pack, Kenny Tripp, Matthew Bear. You have the 14, Dwayne Robinson. We haven't said his name all day. Rafael Semprich is running in this pack. Logan Jones, after starting in 40th, he's up to 19th, Doug. Heather Patrick currently is running in this pack. You have Trevor Birchmere. Kyle Streichars, after starting deep in the field, is up there. Joe Campbell. You also have Marty Zakala in this pack. Jose Gaudino, about the top 25. And you could even say that Octavio Rondoletto, Greg Holes, and a lot of these guys in the second pack, about 30 guys are within breathing distance of the leaders right now here, Doug.
Yeah, they definitely are. I mean, there's some cars that we know are back there playing it safe tonight, and I think you're seeing a little bit of that back here. Some of these guys have picked up a lot of positions and then just slipped back a little bit. We've seen some guys go all the way to the front, hang out, get a lap, and then drop back, and I think we're going to continue to see that. I think the first 100 laps, we're just going to see a lot of these guys that if they get the run to the front, they're going to go for it, and then they're going to back off eventually and let it play out for a little bit. And then the second 100 laps, I think we're going to see everybody just going for it from the word go. The entire... I was trying to look and see the gap between the first like 15 cars are within 2 seconds of each other, so everybody on this track is still within reach of the leaders.
Yeah, top 32 are still within the lead draft. That's crazy. And all 42 cars that fired, besides Paul Coleman Jr. on the lead lap, and all of them are pretty safe except one. They're coming up to lap Jeremy Leto here very soon. But we're on lap number 27. We're going to take our first commercial break. Thank you to Tri-E Coolers. We will be right back after this word from our sponsors. And welcome back, my friend. We are live here from the Irish Hills of Michigan in the Change.org 400. Up front leading right now, Alex Gangler continues to lead laps, but now there's a good battle for the lead as Kendrick Cryer goes for the top spot. He gets a big run on that high side of the speedway. It's going to be close at the wire, but I believe it is going to be Kendrick Cryer. And Cryer leads his first lap, Doug, after starting in 39th as this battle for the lead. It's pretty much the same guys, except Cryer has now found his way into this lead pack.
Yeah, he was definitely going for the bonus points there and got him. Huge run out of him to make it all the way up to the front from 39th all the way up there. But you're talking about the top three. All of them have come from 18 or more spots back. Kendrick Cryer, 37 spots. Aiden McConaughey, 37 spots. So a lot of these guys have made their way up here. And you're starting to see the guys that are going to be a little bit more patient in the back of the pack. And you're seeing some of these guys that started in the back. They have already worked their way in the draft all the way up here to the front pack. And they're probably going to stay there. It does not look like Kendrick Cryer is going to try and back off anytime soon.
3 wide in the second pack now as Dwayne Robinson and Sean Robinson are Sean Andrews, are trying to sandwich Tyler Jalbert. Everyone's going to hang on. They're still 3 wide for the top spot. Kendrick Cryer in no man's land up there, too far up the racetrack. Pretty soon they're going to be coming up on that lap car of, they must have won around the lap car of Jeremy Leto during commercial. Actually, Jeremy Leto's coming into the pits right now. Looks like Leto's making an unscheduled pit stop here. This is not within the pit window. Unsure why Leto's coming into the pits, but that car is coming down for some sort of repair. He might go another lap down. And Paul Coleman does finally make it out in the racetrack. He's 27 laps down, Doug. But that does mean that all 43 cars are now out in Speedway for the first time tonight, as Blake Wynn has taken the lead away from his teammate Alex Gangler, and Blake Wynn is looking to lead another lap here, although here comes Foster to the high side, Gangler to the low side, and it's Wynn at the wire.
Yeah, and there it is again. Wynn jumping up there, getting leading a lap. I'm surprised that Gangler didn't drop back behind him for a moment, but here they go, and Wynn will slide back in line, I'd imagine, behind the 82 and just play it safe up there as Foster jumps up to the lead. And they are starting to settle down a little bit. We do see a few 3-wide battles throughout the pack, but for the most part, everybody's 2 lines all the way around the track, and I would imagine we're halfway through the fuel run. When are things going to really start to heat up? It's probably going to be a little bit later on. I'm a bit surprised everybody's finally calmed down.
Yeah, Doug, I wouldn't expect to see things heat up to around lap 150. I mean, there's really no reason for it. As here we go, 3 wide again. High side McConaughey. Foster leads again. Foster probably with the second most led laps. Jeremy Leto finally gets off pit road. He's going to go 3 laps down. That's not anything. He could recover from that. Guys have recovered from worse. But for a tough break there for Leto's, this was certainly a race he was looking forward to. Up front, Mason Foster, he does have the lead. And now on that high side of the speedway, Aiden McConaughey gets a big run in that 85 car. McConaughey making the third lane work as we're starting to see some new guys get into this mix for the lead. First time tonight, we're going to say the name Dwayne Robinson up from 32nd. He is now making the pass for 6th position in that 14 car. Robinson looking like he's going to want to get up here and race for the lead with these guys.
Yeah, he's another one that's charging through the field. Logan Jones is another name we haven't mentioned, but he's sitting back there in 11th after starting in 40th. So I imagine we're going to be talking about him before too much longer, but you're right. We're seeing a couple of guys, 1s and 2s, working their way up here to the front. And that could shake things up a little bit as well. You've got teammates up here that are working really well together, and then you got these single cars that don't have a teammate or don't have help that all of a sudden they are up here battling for the lead, getting that 1 lap lead as the 15 drops really low on the track momentarily.
Let's highlight the 66 of Christopher Johnson. These cars, there's a third group of cars, Doug, that are 10 seconds off the lead. They're not close to the lead draft, but they're just driving around the track single file saving their stuff. That's Christopher Johnson, Robert Polgan, Jeff Edgar, Tyler Batchelder, John Schwartz, JB Smooth, and Derek Colson along with Jeremy Leto, the lap car. But Doug, there's some big names in there. John Schwartz, he's up there near the top 5 in points. He's running in this third pack. The 66 car is 4th in points, and it's running back there in this third pack right now. These guys truly just biding their time and saving their stuff, not risking anything.
Yeah, they know they're going to have to play some pit strategy here in a little bit. They know they've got to play this a little bit safe. They've got to be careful. They've got to make the car last. And I mentioned we might see some guys stretch that fuel beyond 70 laps. If it's going to be anybody, it's going to be this group back here. They are far enough back that they can take it a little bit easier. They're staying single file as well, and I'd imagine they're switching out who's leading at the front of the pack every so often, just to keep everybody in fuel, stretch it a little bit longer. Some strategy play coming in here. If we don't see a caution, then you never know. These guys on strategy alone might be able to stay out there a little bit longer, and we know this could be a two-stop race for some of these folks. So, how much closer or how much further can they go?
Change for the lead. Foster led that time, but now we have Kenny Tripp in the top spot. He's on the high side looking to lead a lap. He hasn't led a lap yet. He started in 16, so he really didn't start that deep in the field. But we saw Tripp kind of just hanging out, and he finally decides it's time to make a move. Tripp has the lead. He cuts off the nose of McConaughey there. Oh, that was so tight there. Tripp now on the low side, and Kenny the helmet Tripp. Let's see if he can lead the first lap of the race for him. He has a car coming down low, a car coming up high. It's Tripp in the 12 car in the middle. It's going to be awfully close at the wire, and it is, I don't know if it was Tripp. It was really close. It was Aiden McConaughey, and they scored it a dead heat with Kenny Tripp.
That was so close. I had to wait for timing to update. That was crazy. And we saw the finish in the All-Star race here. We saw the same thing. They had to look at it in thousandths of a second to determine who won. They didn't know who had won until they were told once they got through 1 and 2, and they had to be told who won. I mean, it was that close. And we're going to see that finish again here tonight, but with 43 cars out here instead of 25, things could get really wild very quickly, as Kenny Tripp is going to try for it again, and he's going to get stuck in the middle again. I don't think he's going to pull it off this time.
I don't either, but they're so tight there, Kenny. You have a car under you. You have to respect that guy down there. It's Foster leading. Tripp, though, in the middle. It's getting sketchy. Now we have the weapon, Tyler Jalbert. And look on the high side. That's the 74 of Raphael Sempruch, the pride of Germany, for the first time making his way up through this field. He only runs select XCAL races with Raphael Sempruch. When this race starts, Doug, it's 4 a.m. in Germany. He has to get up and make a special day out of it to race the XCAL race. But he likes running restrictor plate races. He likes tracks like Rockingham and road courses. And this is the restrictor plate race of all restrictor plate races, and he said he wasn't going to miss it. And now Raphael Sempruch, after he started all the way back in 27, he's all by himself in the third lane looking to race for this lead as Kenny Tripp's trying to lead his first lap.
Yeah, he's got no help up there. Raphael doesn't, but he is going to... There's a line forming right behind him, so he might have help next time by. We'll have to wait and see. As the 12 car, Kenny Tripp finally gets to lead a lap here. The third line is forming. Those guys in the middle might just get stuck, and that third line might be the one to watch. I have noticed coming off turn 2, that high line is definitely faster. We've seen a couple instances of guys coming off turn 2, getting the run down the back straightaway, dropping low for 3 and 4, and then drifting back up off of 4. Seems to be the preferred line in these cars here. Every type of car has a different preferred line. That just seems to be the one that's working for these guys here tonight.
Yeah, now we have the weapon, Tyler Jalbert, trying to lead his first lap of the race. The weapon has yet to lead tonight as they're coming up on a lap car. Let me see who that is. That is Paul Coleman Jr., 27 laps down in the 18. We'll see how they get around Coleman. And they are quickly coming up on that car. And the weapon, he will lead his first lap of this race, so Jalbert has it that time of the wire. Foster's still on the high side, and you still have Raphael Sempruch starting to try to make a charge up there and trying to form a third lane. The weapon gets to lead a lap, though. Now Coleman Jr. is going to pull low on the racetrack. He gets out of the way. Gets a little squirrely. He's going to get out of the way, though, does Coleman Jr. in the 18 car. And now we're going to see Kenny Tripp drop down after leading that lap. I think he just wanted to lead the lap. He's dropping off. We'll see if the weapon does the same next time by. But yeah, so a few changes here. One thing I do want to note, too, Doug, is that lap cars, this isn't like Talladega in the Cup Series where the lap cars are like significantly slower than the cars in the draft. If you catch a lap car by itself here, Doug, it's only running about half a second off the pace because these cars are so slow and motor dependent.
Yeah, it's not as big a deal. It's not as likely to cause a big one when you catch up to that lap car. And if you're the leader and you can time it right and that guy is a teammate or somebody willing to work with you, you could use that to your advantage here. So things could definitely change as we start to see lap cars come into play. We've got a couple of cars out there now, one or more laps down. As the weapon drops low, it looks like he's going back to the back now as well. And who's that? The 15 right behind him is going to go to the back now as well. They got their laps led, and I think I'm trying to do some quick math. I think we've had about 11 leaders so far.
We have the three guys racing for the lead right now. Probably one of the three most ones, though. McConaughey, Foster, and Gangler. Gangler now on the high side. McConaughey on the low side. It's going to be close between Gangler and McConaughey at the wire. It is... I don't know who got it that time. It's McConaughey by 17 one-thousandths of the stripe that time by Gangler, McConaughey, and Foster. It's close between them who's led the most laps so far. I think Gangler has it by a good margin. But Foster and McConaughey have led quite a few of the last few ones. They're starting to catch up in that battle. As a few guys that haven't led laps now that are up in this lead pack. You have Dwayne Robinson, Rafael Semprich, Shane Briggs, and also Sean Andrews still has yet to lead a lap, although he's ran up front for a lot of this race. So some more guys now are going to start to enter this fold as Gangler on the high sides looking to lead yet another lap.
Yeah, we're starting to see a lot of these guys that started way in the back that have worked their way up here. And like with Semprich, we're going to see him try and find somebody up here to work with. He doesn't have Octavio up here to work with. He's got to find somebody willing to work with him here and work his way up to the front, get that lap led. It is... Because he runs a part-time schedule, it doesn't really help him, but it helps the team overall. So he is definitely pushing to get up there and lead a lap and maybe even get a win for Octavio here tonight.
Yeah, no, Semprich actually runs for his own independent team. It's Gregorio that's in the other Octavio car. But Semprich, nonetheless, he's the only Dodge in the field. The 74 car is the only Dodge that enters weekend, or whatever Semprich enters. And it's nice to see a Dodge running up front in these street stock races. You don't see a whole lot of them. As Semprich now gets the side draft here off Sean Andrews. He is going to get by Andrews now, so Semprich picks up another spot. Up front, it's going to be close to the stripe again, but once again, it's going to be Alex Gangler on the high side. As the 82 car of Genghis, he keeps clicking away these laps here, Doug. Great start to this thing for Gangler, as they're going to go 3 wide now for the second position. And now we see Semprich. He's cleared the rest of this pack. Semprich now has clear air ahead to start to battle with these guys that are racing for the lead, as Foster is going to get on the high side now of Gangler's. They are still 3 wide. Gangler with a big push from Win, his teammate, and Semprich now is looking to enter the fold.
Yeah, and these two teammates in the 81 and the 82, they are definitely working extraordinarily well here together tonight. Somebody up here at the front has got to break that team up if they want any chance of winning, because so far those two are the dominant cars. They've been able to hang on to the lead. They've led combined all the most laps combined, and the 82 has led the most laps so far. So it's going to get very, very interesting if we don't get some more teams back up here, as the other two up there don't have their teammates with them anymore.
Yeah, no, they do not at all. As now it's on the high side, Foster. Here comes a new pair of cars on the high side. Here comes Semprich and Shane Briggs. Those two have not been up front all day long. They now enter their name to the full. Taking the lead is Mason Foster with help from Aiden McConaughey. They clear the gas and go teammates, and now that's going to leave Semprich as the first car on the high side. Semprich now works his way around Gangler. Here comes Briggs looking to make a third lane. Semprich throws a little bit of a block up there. He says, whoa, buddy, not quite yet. And now they get real dicey off the corner. Semprich, though, with a big run. It's going to be Foster leading another lap. Foster might start to be catching Gangler a little bit in most laps led. He's led quite a few. I'd say probably close to 10 at this point. But on that high side of the speedway, Rafael Semprich is going to make it 3 wide. Semprich goes all the way up the racetrack. Let's see if it sticks. It looks like it's going to so far, as the low line's the one losing the momentum. Gangler does not get a good run off the corner. Semprich gets his momentum back on exit, and they're going to be side by side now for third with Semprich. Semprich leaves the middle open, though, and Briggs is going to fill the gap. It is very tight going down into turn 3. Gangler door slams him.
And it is getting very wild up here, and they're going to have to split that team up. But the front two, Mason Foster pulling Aiden McConaughey along, they seem to be pulling away just a little bit. They had a little bit of a run. That middle line, if you have somebody pushing you, surprisingly, that middle line seems to be the one going, at least at the moment. I don't know if these two on the bottom can catch back up there, and Semprich just cannot get a consistent pusher up there. He cannot get enough help to get himself up there and lead that lap quite yet. But hopefully he'll be able to get, as the 23 falls in line, Sean Andrews. Hopefully those two can work together. Shane Briggs now up in front of him. We'll see if these three can hook up and get to the front, as they stay too wide for the moment. But some of these guys are really starting to look, and they've got a lap car ahead.
Yeah, lap car ahead, that's Joseph Lester. He was in 41st, the first car one lap down, or last car in the lead lap in 41st, excuse me. And he will now go a lap down, so only 40 cars on the lead lap. And Lester, he had no damage. He just lost the draft. So if he wants, Doug, like the draft is so effective, he's already up to speed. That side draft has already affected his car enough where he's running at the same pace as leaders. And this is where it's so different from the NASCAR Cup Series, where those guys will have just blown by the lap car. Lester actually almost immediately catches on to the draft, and now he can really choose to run wherever he wants. A car that I want to make note of now, Doug, already moving up into the 11th spot from 36 is Octavio Rondoletto, but he was running 5 seconds back not that long ago, Doug. Rondoletto's made some power moves as they go 4 wide up front. Oh, this is starting to get dicey. Sempruch makes a move. Gangler goes to the low side. Sempruch with a power move with a lot of help from Sean Andrews. They are still 4 wide behind him. Hold your breath, folks. That's Rondoletto on the low side. He was 5 seconds back earlier. He now is going to get himself into this fold for the lead, and things are starting to get dicey for some reason here.
Well, they've got about 15, 20 laps before they're going to have to stop for fuel. Some of these guys are wanting to get those bonus points for leading a lap in as quickly as possible, secure those points so that no matter what happens from there, they've at least got that bonus point here. As they're 4 wide in there with the lap car in the middle, now they get back 2 wide, but it got really sketchy there for a minute with the lap car in the middle there.
Here we go, Rafael Sempruch. He's vying for the lead now. He's trying to be the first national driver not born in the United States to lead a lap here in this race. And it's the 74 of Rafael Sempruch. He started all the way back in 27th position. And here we come, the pride of Germany, the only German in the XCAL field, the only German ever make an XCAL start. He has the lead off the corner. He gets a push from McConaughey. Now McConaughey jumps to the high side. It's going to be awfully close at the wire. It is too close to call. They are going to score it. Sempruch in a tie with McConaughey.
Well, Guten Morgen to Sempruch. He gets his first lap led for Germany here and still manages to hold on to it. But the 81, he got a little bit of a bump there into the 74. It looked like there was a little bit of bumping as they came across the line, and the cars got a little bit squirrely there. We're seeing a lot of bumping and banging, a lot more than you'd expect this early in the race. But normally we wouldn't expect this much in the race, but we weren't expecting it on lap 2 either. But there you have it. On lap 2 they were 3 and 4 wide all around the track. So I think all of our expectations for tonight are kind of out the window, and I think all the patience and everything has been thrown out the window. I think these guys are just going for it from the word go.
They're still racing cautious enough, Doug, where I'm seeing respect given. They need to not get too comfortable, and they need to understand this is great, but we can't get too comfortable. Things can be out of hand as they are 3 wide, 3 by 3 up front. Now entering the mix is Logan Jones for the first time, that 08 car. He considers himself a super speedway aficionado, and he goes in that far outside lane with Aidan McConaughey. By the way, Sempruch led another lap that time by. It's Sempruch in the middle on the high side. McConaughey without a lot of help right now. Jones kind of lost him a little bit, and it's Gangler and Wynn continuing to be a staple at the front of the field on the low side. This time by at the stripe, we will be a quarter of the way through the race. Who's going to lead it here at the wire? It's Gangler on the low side, Sempruch in the middle. On the way high side comes McConaughey. Sempruch with the head of steam, though, and Sempruch is going to lead it. So, Doug, the first quarter of this race, I would say, was probably, you hate to say dominated a super speedway race, but definitely dominated by Alex Gangler, the pole setter. He led the most laps and has kept that car out in front. Let's see how the next quarter goes as things are getting more dicey here as we continue to click away laps.
Yeah, Gangler definitely has the advantage of having his teammates staying right with him every second. Those are the only 2 teammates that have really stayed together so far. We're a quarter of the way through. These 2 have stayed together every single lap. Nobody's been able to split them up. You know their pit strategies will work together. They'll do everything together, and they are working extremely well together. Aidan McConaughey, Alex Gangler, they having a heck of a run here tonight, and I kind of interested to see if anybody's going to try and separate them at any point. I don't see it happening here right now as they're 3 wide at the line. I do believe it was McConaughey that time.
Sempruch by 1/1000th. It was Sempruch in the middle again. He's led the last 3 in a row as they're 3 abreast from the top spot. Doug, another pair of teammates to note. See those 2 green cars? That's Octavio Rondoletto and Gregorio Dorso. They have now made their way through the field. First time we've talked about that pair of teammates as they look like they've worked together.
Yeah, they have definitely snuck their way up there. Octavio started all the way back in 36. Gregorio started in 17th, and it almost seems like Gregorio just kind of rode there, waited for his teammate. They get there, they get connected, and now we'll see if these two can work their way to the front together as well. Not seeing a whole lot of other teammates working together, but I think we're going to start seeing these teams try and form up together. As they're 3 wide, 4 deep now.
Wow, they are 4 wide as Luke Turpin makes a 4 wide move, and Octavio Rondoletto and Gregorio Dorso are going to go with him. Up the sucker hole goes Luke Turpin. He makes a power move there, and I'd hate to take you away from the racing action, but we do have bills to pay. We're going to take a quick timeout and hear a word from Buck Kicker and Sim Racer Coin. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back with Change.org 400.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back, my friend. The racing is dicing. They go 4 wide. The Gas and Go teammates pull off as they're still 4 wide, and I think the Gas and Go teammates said this is just too sketchy for us at this point in the race, Doug.
It definitely looks like that. They pulled down. It is getting really sketchy as Rondoletto is trying to make his way up to the front now. He's got the lead coming out of the turn. We saw him. They saw what we saw while they were at break. 4 wide racing at the front. It got really, really sketchy. They're going to the line 4 wide, and it's going to be Rondoletto by less than a nose.
5 1,000s. Turpin has nowhere to merge. Turpin does get to merge at the last second. This is just too sketchy at this point in the race, boys. I just don't. This is just not necessary at this point. These guys are going at it. We have had one car make its way into the pits. Derek Colson is the first car to come down. Now we have a second car, Christopher Johnson in the 66. So guys are starting to pit here as we must be getting closer to the fuel window here as the 15 of Kendrick Cryer now is going to drop off. Up front, it's Luke Turpin and Rafael Sempruch going side by side for the lead. And it is going to be Sempruch with the advantage on the high side. Turpin trying to lead his first lap of this race. And Rondoletto, he is right there in the fold for this thing. And it looks like it might be Turpin on the low side. He gets a good push there from Rondoletto. Let's see who has it at the wire. That was really close. I think it was Sempruch. It was Sempruch as we go 3 wide.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I'm holding my breath watching these guys. I can't imagine what it's like being in the car. I guess we could find out. Let's pick a driver up there in the middle. How about the 96 car? We'll go around the track with him for a minute and just see how sketchy this is really looking from inside the car as he is right there on the back bumper. And, of course, you can see the temperature gauges. They don't have to worry too much. These things don't overheat as easily as a cup car does, but they do get a little squirrely as you hear his tires just begging for mercy going through the corner.
Bruce gets loose. What? Fails Sempruch. I don't know how he saved that race car, but he hangs on. McConaughey's going to lead. Logan Jones makes it 4 wide. They are 4 wide going into turn 1. Hold your breath. Jones is all the way up there on that 4th lane. This is tight. They're going to make contact. They make foot contact. They hang on to it. Jones is into the wall. Everyone's going to save it. And now they just need to take a chill pill, Doug.
Yeah, they definitely do. Somebody was trying to poke their nose in there to make it 5 wide briefly, and I thought that was going to be the end. A couple of guys wisely backed out of it. Now we've got just 3 wide at the front, and you got to find it very ironic when things are calmer because it's 3 wide, not 4 and 5 wide. We saw them 5 wide last week in the All-Star race, and looks like we're going to see it again here tonight. We're just over a fourth of the way through. These guys are already pushing this hard. I cannot imagine what the last 25% of this race is going to be like, but I know it's going to get nuts.
Sean Andrews just had a moment. Sean Andrews almost just wrecked in the middle of this lead pack. He somehow hung on to that car. This is getting really dicey right now. We are on the verge of a disaster here right now. I cannot believe that we haven't had an actual wreck yet. It's a miracle that these guys have hung on to the cars up to this point, but they are asking for it. And Rafael Sempruch up front, he's going for the lead. Here comes Foster making it 3 wide again. Turpin on the inside is yet to lead a lap, neither is Shane Briggs. Also worth noting, Joe Campbell, he's up to 7th right now. First time we said Campbell's name this entire race. It is Turpin on the low side with a little bit of an advantage, but it's that 74 car of Sempruch. He is fighting back in that high side. A few cars that have come into the pits. You have Derek Colson, Jeremy Leto, Christopher Johnson. And those are the cars that have made their pit stops already. This time by the stripe in a dead heat, Turpin leads his first lap as they are still 3 wide.
Yeah, and just sitting here watching Campbell, he is actually being really smart about it. You can tell he is he's had a run a couple of different times because he's come flying right up to the back bumper of the 57, then he just backs off. He's not trying to make a move yet, and as soon as I say something, he starts looking to the middle there. He is definitely starting to play it a little bit more aggressive, but the last few laps he's just been taking it easy there, watching everybody, and he might just be stalking, waiting for the perfect opportunity, but he keeps laying back just a little bit. You'll see him lay back and then suddenly get a run, and he'll come flying up, but he doesn't take advantage of it yet, which is a little bit surprising as hard as these guys are pushing up here.
Yeah, that is very, very surprising. Like you said, these guys have been pushing so aggressively here. This time by was Foster leading another lap. Foster definitely has probably led the second most laps in this race. Then probably Sempruch would be third, I would say. As we are still 3 wide, this is very tight. Sempruch is up in that third lane with help from Shane Briggs. And, you know, Doug, some of these guys running up in this lead pack right now, Mason Foster, Shane Briggs, Sean Andrews, they aren't guys that ran the whole preseason with us. Joe Campbell is there in a tight 3 wide as Briggs makes his way up there. He's on the outside of Sempruch now. Sempruch isn't making room for him, but Briggs on that way high line, he'll continue to run it up there. Sempruch doesn't seem too happy about that move that Briggs made. It seems like he ran him up the racetrack. But what I was going to say there, Doug, about Foster, Andrews, Briggs, and even Joe Campbell and Dwayne Robinson running up in this lead pack, they didn't run the preseason. They don't know these guys like everyone else. And their setup program is a little bit behind everyone else. They're not really competing for wins on the short tracks yet. But this is a track where a guy like those guys that really haven't made their name known yet can make their name known.
Yeah, they're definitely getting some good quality TV time. They're getting some sponsor recognition here for their teams and their sponsors. And, these kind of tracks, these super speedway type tracks, they're definitely the great equalizer for all these teams. Everybody, you can do a lot of stuff with a setup on a short track, but at one of these bigger tracks, you're really, really limited. And you see these guys, they're just, they're going for it. They're going to try and get everything they can get some recognition, maybe get some additional sponsorship, and build their team up just a little bit. And we're seeing that with a lot of these guys up here. And, watching the 74 up there, though, Rafael Sempruch, we didn't talk about him much until, Texas? And then here he is again up at the front.
Yeah, he is running up front right now, doing a really good job. Enjoying watching this guy go at it as we have a great battle going on up here for the lead right now. Still, as these guys are 3 wide, it's Briggs taking the lead away now. Briggs, first time he's got the nose ahead. Let's see if he can stick it. He is on that third lane right now with help from Kendrick Pryor, though Pryor seems to be dropping off. It's Foster with the nose ahead now off the corner. Let's see if Briggs can get the run back. He can't. All the momentum now goes into the side draft, that 15 car. It's going to be close to the wire. It is going to be, I think, Mason Foster. No, it was Luke Turpin. It was Mason Foster in a tie that time, Doug. So another dead heat at the stripe as we get to lap 65, and I think these guys are officially starting to enter their pit window.
Yeah, I believe we heard 65 to 70. I do believe we're going to see that backpack that we talked about earlier. I do think we're going to see those guys go a little bit longer, maybe 73, 74 laps. It'll be interesting to see the groupings as well. As they come to pit road, you're starting to see some teams as it gets a little sketchy up front. You're starting to see the teams regroup together, getting ready for those pit stops now.
Yeah, no, things are starting to get sketchy once again. And here we go. A lot of guys coming into the pits this time. That was kind of dicey, but about half the field makes it in. One car spins coming into the pits. Hold up, that's Aiden McConaughey. He spins trying to get into his pit stall, and that car goes around Doug, so he's going to lose a ton of time, and that car's still not turned around.
That is definitely going to hurt. Trying to see if we can get a replay of what happened to him, but yeah, that's definitely going to hurt any time lost on pit road. It's the only time you can make up and build a little bit of a gap, and if you're going to lose it on pit road, it's really, really going to hurt.
He forgot, Doug, that he qualified 42nd, so literally the second pit stall was his, and I think he just forgot. It looks like he almost just completely forgot where his pit stall was.
All right, we found looks like we've got the replay of him coming to pit road. Let's see if we can see what happened to him. As he dives in, he's got a good line there. Oh, yeah, he locked it up. It kicked the wrong way. He tried to correct it, and, yeah, things did not go well for McConaughey there.
Oh, another car spins coming into the pits. That's Tyler McRae in the Dropping Bombs 99. He stalls it out getting into the pits. Or, excuse me, that wasn't McRae. That was the Dropping Bombs car, though. Trying to see who that was. Heather Patrick. It was Heather Patrick. Fun coming into the pits, hit the inside wall a little bit, as now most of the field has entered the pits besides the select few.
See if we can pull up a replay of Patrick coming to pit road. There he is. He gets down cleanly. There was somebody smoking the tires in front of him. Somebody was backwards right in front of him, and he just completely he hit the brakes trying to avoid it and ended up getting into the wall there. And he's got heavy damage to the nose of that car.
Yep, so now everyone else comes into the pits, and oh, Greg Holes! It looks like he might have had a hard time getting to the pits that time, as the pit entrance here. Remember, Doug, these guys have just, I'm not going to say brainlessly, as Greg Holes did get around entering the pits, Doug. But they haven't been driving around brainlessly, but they've been driving around full throttle with the gas down. That's the first time they've had a break in a while, and we've seen a lot of guys struggle with it now, as Holes did go around.
Yeah, it's really the first moment they have to catch their breath as they get on pit road. They've been 3 and 4 wide all the way around the track the whole race, and here's their opportunity to get out there and get a drink, catch their breath, and just relax for a moment. And they relax a little too much getting on the pit road, and these are the kind of incidents that happen. As it looks like Rafael Sempruge is the first off pit road.
And Doug, can we get a replay on the Greg Holes one? Just because it looks like he actually sustained a good bit of damage. I didn't catch it on my camera, but he must have hit something pretty decently.
Let's see what we got here. As didn't see. Our camera did not pick it up. Let me try. Let's just try doing this the old-fashioned way. We'll rewind his pit entry and just see if we can see what happened, because when we pick him up, it's... And it looks like Greg's been blinking a little bit, but it looks like he got on the brakes extremely hard and getting off the track onto pit road and spun the car.
Unfortunate break there for Greg Holes. He has been having a tough season, and he really could have used a break there. That one won't help him out at all. So we're trying to see who is getting off the pits first, who's going to cycle through to the lead. I'm really not positive as of right now, to be honest with you. It's pretty much all up in the air. One car I'm focusing in on right now is Rafael Sempruge. Like Doug said, he appears to has the advantage right now, and I believe then second is Tyler McRae, quite a ways back, and then it looks like maybe Dwayne Robinson got out third. And we're still just getting updates. It's all cycle through. This time by Sempruge will cross the wire. Let's see where they score him. I'll be very curious to see if he cycles through to the top spot or what the deal is here. And it looks like Sempruge Sempruge is your leader now. And back in second, I believe it's going to be Tyler McRae. It will be McRae 6 seconds behind our leader, Sempruge. Third is going to be Mike Stoddard. He is 9 seconds behind our leader. Fourth is a pack with Jordan Babinger and Alex Gangler and Trevor Birchmere. They're all right next to each other. And that is pretty far back to Blake Wynn. Although it does look like Luke Turpin's going to come out, and he's going to cycle in right near Alex Gangler and company. And Luke Turpin's actually going to cycle in right next to Mike Stoddard, so Turpin's going to cycle into third. So the running order, Doug, is going to be Semprich with a big lead, McRae in second, Turpin third, Stoddard fourth, and then Babinger, Gangler, Birchmere fifth, sixth, and seventh. Then it's far way back to Shane Briggs.
Yeah, and we're also seeing, just due to everything on the pit stops, at least for the moment, a lot of cars now being scored one lap down. And there is such a big gap between the leader, Raphael Semprich, and Tyler McRae right now. Both guys, though, they have somebody to draft with, at least for the moment. And that's it'll be interesting to see, as it looks like McRae has a teammate with him.
Yeah, and Raphael Semprich has the 53 of Tyler Batchelder, and not too far behind is Derek Colson. So, like, Colson might be able to catch the draft of those two cars, and that would really help Rafi if they had three. Because for McRae, it's really just McRae and Art. Although, pretty soon, it looks like McRae and Art Hendren are running a high line. Doug, I almost think that maybe McRae and Art want the 454 of Turpin and their teammate, the 28 of Mike Stoddard, to catch up. Because I know that would allow Turpin to join the battle, but it would also give him another teammate, Mike Stoddard, and they'd have a four-car draft.
Yeah, and then they would just easily start running down the leader, and that would definitely be an advantage to these guys. It would be a really smart move. The additional thing is they're out of the gas. They're going to save a little bit of fuel there, and if it comes down to a strategy play late in the race, who knows what's going to happen. Based on the pit stops right now, everybody pit about lap 65. They can go do this on one more stop at lap 130. If a caution comes out, that obviously throws out all the strategy we could possibly think of. But, these guys stretching a little bit extra fuel there could come into play later.
So right now it's Semprich out in front. He has help from Tyler Batchelder. And it does look like Luke Turpin, I apologize. He cycled in a lap down, Doug. It's Mike Stoddard in third still. I apologize. Luke Turpin's lap car. There's only 9 cars in the lead lap, Doug. And what I'm thinking is some guys must have taken a full tank of gas, and a couple other guys maybe only took 18 of 22 gallons. A few guys maybe said, let's roll the dice a little bit, bank on a caution, and trap some guys a lap down. So we have 1st through 9th on the lead lap, and then you have 10th all the way through 37th, just one lap down, Doug. And then you have 38th, 39th, and 40th, 2 laps down, and 41st, 3 laps down. 42 of the 43 cars still run on the track. Joseph Lester is the only car behind the wall.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, these guys that are banking on a caution, they're not going to get very lucky, because this pack that starts at about 13th with Marty Zakawa, he is leading about a 6, 7, 8 car pack. It looks like about an 8 car pack right now with Kendrick Cryer, Chase Johnson, Rondoletto, Joe Campbell, Mason Foster, and Tyler Jailbert. And Logan Jones, they're all back there together, and they're staying single file right now. They're working their way back up, and I'd imagine these guys are going to come back up into play. But that's the biggest pack on there, and as long as they're working together and everybody plays nicely, there's not going to be a caution. So these guys that are gambling on a caution, they might be gambling completely wrong here.
You know what, Doug? I think that stopping for gas and only taking 50 laps worth is genius. Because no matter what way you slice this, Doug, this is a 3-stop race. If you get 50 laps worth of gas in your tank, you're still going to have to stop 3 times. If you sit and get the full fuel every time, you're still going to have to pit 3 times. These guys that are a lap ahead right now and didn't take the full tank of gas, if this thing went green all the way, they would never be behind the 8 ball because they wouldn't have to make an extra stop. So honestly, for these guys in the lead lap, they just really thought this through, and a lot of credit to them dropping bomb racing guys. The 2 teams that I see that pulled it off, Doug, actually every car on the lead lap right now is either a dropping bomb car or a gas and go car besides Raphael Semprich. So Dropping Bombs Racing and Alex Gangler's team did their math along with Raphael Semprich.
And that is definitely going to come into play here. I'm trying to do a little quick math. If they go 66 laps on a tank of fuel, they can do it on 2 stops if they stretch one. 60 or I got to do that math again. I think it was 67 to 68. So we could see a few guys 2-stop it if they get a full fuel run and if they save a little bit of fuel along the way. But it looked like everybody stopped about lap 66, so it might be the right strategy to only take 50 laps of fuel.
Someone, if they want to, if someone thinks this thing could go green all the way and they aren't in position right now to maybe win, I would try that. I would try saving fuel if I was a guy like Joe Campbell right now. Maybe save fuel this whole way through and do it on 2 stops. But the way I see this race going, I think we'll probably see a caution, and I think the strategy that the DBR guys and Gas and Go guys have pulled off is pretty impressive here as this thing continues to go. Although, Doug, I'm going to knock on wood because I don't want to jinx it, but I don't know where a caution's going to come from for a while here, as there's really no signs of a caution coming anytime soon as they're all spread out now.
Oh, I know.
Tyler McRae and Art Hendren, though, Luke Turpin and Mike Stoddard have caught up to them pretty much. That's about to be a 4-car pack.
Oh, I know where it's going to come from now. Remember when I said that group that Marty's leading is staying single file and playing nice? They're not anymore. They were 3 wide down the backstretch last time. They were 3 wide off turn 2, and these guys, despite all being at least 1 lap down, they're all fighting for position here already. The wise move would be to stay single file, get themselves back up into position to get their laps back. But, yeah, they're getting really sketchy, and they're 2 wide at the moment. But every other turn, they're about 3 wide. And I'm really surprised to see these guys pushing this hard. But here they are.
Well, Doug, you want to hear something lovely? So Luke Turpin's the first car lap down. He's way ahead of these guys running with a different pack. The second car lap down is Shane Briggs. He's way ahead of this pack, running with a different pack. He's not in their distance. Only the top 3 cars, Doug, get a wave around each caution. So only whichever car is leading this pack will get a wave around when the caution comes out. And I think that's probably why they're fighting so hard. And these guys truly have a lot to fight for here.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The 12th place car would be the 3rd one right now. That is Kyle, and he in the 52 car, and he's battling there with the 81, who we've seen up front with his teammate all night. So these guys are definitely battling. They know that only one of that group is going to be able to get a lap back under caution, and that would explain the little bit of craziness up here. But my concern would be being involved or causing that caution because of how hard they're battling. These guys are going to have to do the play the strategy game and be smart about it.
While we're here on lap number 77, as we continue to click them away, we're going to take another commercial break and thank our friends at SimRacer Coin and Tri-E Coolers. Don't go anywhere, my friend. We'll be right back with the Change.org to 400.
All right, welcome back. We continue to watch this second pack. These are the lap cars battling to be that next car that gets a lap back as we are approaching lap number 80. We still got Rafael Simpruge up front. Mike Stoddard quite a ways behind him, but that pack has reformed now. They've got about a 4-car pack there led by the 28 of Mike Stoddard, and they are starting to try and run down the leader. They're about 8.8 seconds back at the moment, but that bigger group, if they can stay single file, they do have a better opportunity of getting back up here to the front. Tyler McCurry
Here, and now that they have that draft, Their last lap times were all about 49.3. Rafael Semprich running 49.5. So they're not going to catch him too drastically because Rafael still does have the help of the lap car of Tyler Batchelder. But Rafael really has no other help coming. There's a pack of 3 cars in front of him. He's not going to help. He's not going to catch those guys. He'll only help with one other car. That second pack. Although I will say, Doug, the second pack is really kind of struggling to form here. And one of their issues is, two of these cars, Derek Colson and Art Hendren, these are guys that kind of been legging back all day. These aren't guys that have been up here getting racy a whole lot. I'm curious to see how this pack can form and if they can start to put down some hot laps. Because right now what they're doing isn't going to cut it. They need to get in line. This time by at the stripe, they were actually, for the most part, slower than Rafael Semprich. They actually lost some time.
Yeah, and they've got Luke Turpin right in front of him. He is being scored in 10th on the lead lap. He's going to have to get these guys to line out and help him as well. These guys, they keep changing positions. It's not like they're battling, and I'm almost wondering if they're trying to figure out who can push better, who can push better, who's better out front, and they're trying to figure out the fastest way around. But in the process of doing so, they're really actually losing a little bit of ground right now, and they're going to have to figure this out fairly quickly if they want this pack to get back up to the front.
Here we go, side by side for the last wave around spot. Jalbert jumps down low on Strychars for 11th, or for 12th, excuse me. It's going to be awfully close to the stripe. Now we have Rondoletto getting involved in this battle, and Jalbert has it that time by at the stripe, but it was awfully close. They are 3 wide now for that last wave around spot, and the intensity is starting to pick up here in the second pack. As, to be honest though, Doug, there's probably not going to be a caution unless these guys racing so hard for the wave around cause it.
Yeah, that is a concern right now because you got to be careful to not be the cause of the caution that gets you the wave around, or you're not going to get the wave around. And these guys are they're racing like they're up front, racing for the win right now. Octavio Rondoletto up on the high side, losing some ground here as the 15 is up there, and this group is just. They're just getting a little too wild for the position they're in. Somebody back there needs to be preaching a little patience to them.
No doubt about it. And Semprich continues to put a little bit of a gap between him and that second group. And Doug, this second group is having such a hard time forming right now that they're actually about to let 4 more cars catch back up. But get this, Doug, that would be 2 more DVR cars. So you'd have Birchmere and Babinger in the mix now, and the 81 of Wynn, and you would have the 82 of Gangler, who's been up front for most of the race, and Shane Briggs, the lap car. So those 4 are starting to catch the pack of Art Hendren, Derek Colson, Mike Stoddard, Tyler McRae, and Luke Turpin.
Yeah, and as this pack starts to get a little bit bigger, this front group, even though it's only 5, or it is 5 cars, as you said, they are not getting formed up. These 3-4 cars behind them, they are getting fairly formed up, especially those 2 up front, Jordan Babinger, Blake Wynn, and the 999 of Shane Briggs. These guys are forming up pretty well. They're working together fairly well on the straightaways. They're all getting lined back up after the corner, and they're carrying a lot more momentum. They're going to be able to catch that group, and then they're going to be able to come around and lead that group, and they're going to lead that group up to the leader. So Rafael Semprich right now, he is sitting in the catbird seat. If anything happens, it's all behind him, but he's about to get run down very soon if these guys can get together and work together.
Being in a 2-car pack, he is running some very competitive laps. Semprich, he is a veteran of sim racing. On that Romeo Guest Construction Dodge Challenger, Doug, this guy has ran since the first racing simulators back in the late 80s. He had it when you had to guess which pixel was the steering wheel of your car, Doug. He has been at it for that long, and he's ran Indy 500s on iRacing since it became a thing. He ran on open land servers in NR 2003. This guy has done everything there's to do in sim racing. So it doesn't surprise me that when strategy is involved and when the finer points of sim racing become involved, you usually see the 74 of Rafael Semprich rise to the occasion.
Yeah, and it's definitely worth noting. I mean, the guy is not. I mean, we talked about Mike Stoddard having the highest I rating in the league at 7,500. Rafael is not exactly a slouch. Even though he's at about 2,100, he is definitely up there. the average iRating is between 1,400 and 1,700. And anybody over about 1,900, they're on their way up, generally speaking. So he is definitely continuing to go up. And you talk about running those old sims. Every year the sim changed, at least with the Papyrus NASCAR sims. They updated them every year. You got different feels for the car, and you had to adapt very quickly. And Raphael definitely is one that is adapting here very, very well, and he continues to open up a lead. Last time by, it was 8.8 seconds. It's now 8.9 seconds, and he's racing side by side with the 53.
Yeah, that should slow him down this lap. We'll have to see. That second lane has formed a lot better now. Gangler has caught that pack. Alex Gangler is caught up to that second line now, and they've ran slow enough where actually now catching up to the pack is going to be Trevor Birchmere and Jordan Babinger. One car did fall off, Shane Briggs. I'm not sure what happened with the Briggs also caught the pack with Gangler. So Gangler and Briggs caught that pack. That second pack is bigger now, and now it's really has enough cars where they might be able to start tracking down Semperuch, as Semperuch is continuing to run side by side right now with the 53 of Tyler Batchelder. Semperuch is trying to get clear. One thing I will note, though, is that Semperuch, by leading all these laps, he did leave some laps in the opening 52. He probably has either surpassed, I'm going to guess he probably has surpassed Alex Gangler for most laps led at this point.
Yeah, he definitely has to have. He's got an 8.7 second lead right now. It's actually 8.8 as they cross the line. But as these guys start to line up and form up, as you mentioned, they're going to start running that gap down very quickly. However, you did mention earlier, there is about a half a second difference, only a half a second difference between the speed in the pack versus the speed being out there alone, like when they're lapping cars. So they may not run him down as fast as we would expect him to. Him being that far out front, if it stays green and he can continue to have really good pit stops and really good strategy, he could run away with this thing.
He could if we stay green, but that's a big if. I would expect Semperuch's next pit stop to be around lap 110 to 120, in that range, I would say. To keep you updated, just to let you know who's doing what, we still have everyone that is running from 10th to 38th, or all just one lap down. And, the 53 of Batchelder gets a little tight right there. Batchelder's fighting to just be one lap down with Semperuch right now. He doesn't want to get trapped 2 laps down. That would be really bad for him. So we have 10th through 38th just 1 lap down. 39th Art Hendren 2 laps down. 40th Derek Colson 3 laps down. 41st Chris Spangler is 4 laps down. And then Joseph Lester out of the field and Paul Coleman Jr. 26 laps down, still out there marching on, trying to fight for what he can. Let's take you around the field, show you maybe some of the packs you haven't got a chance to see yet. So we still have that huge pack that's racing for that last wave around position right now. That battle is still 3 wide. That battle is still very intense right now. A couple lead lap cars are mixed into that. Blake Wynn is in that pack. Dwayne Robinson is also in that pack. Then you go back a little bit further past this pack. You have Chris Spangler running on his own. Then you get another pack that's formed with about the guys from 21st to about 30th. Here you have a lot of mainly asphalt cars running, and you also have Octavio Rondoletto's teammate in the 78 coming back here as well. Then you drop back behind these guys, and you have another pack that's formed with Ron Walters, Aiden McConaughey, who led a lot of laps early. You have Jose Godino and John Schwartz running in that pack. You drop back some more, you have another pack with Robert Colgan, Big John Friley, who starts second on the field. Johnny B's back there, Jeff Edgar, and Jeremy Leto I also see back there. And then finally, you have a pack in this field that consists of, you have Matthew Baer in the number 19 car. He is running with Paul Coleman Jr., and I believe also in that pack is the 22 of Heather Patrick. And those are all the packs that have really formed on the racetrack. But now that the second pack is formed and they're starting to put down some laps, they're starting to catch our leader Semperuch a little quicker now. It's down to 8.3 seconds, although Semperuch and Batchelder have made it single file, so that'll help Raphael.
Yeah, and it's worth noting this pack led by John Friley and Robert Colgan. We talked about them earlier in the race. They were the pack that dropped off. They put about a 5 to 10 second gap between them and that lead pack before the pit stops.
Semperuch is pitting.
He did not take a full tank of fuel. He was definitely expecting a caution here.
Yeah, Semperuch comes down, and now that makes you wonder when the guys like McRae, Stoddard, and Gangler are going to have to pit if we're already seeing Semperuch come down.
Yeah, that it was obviously a strategy play that may or may not pay off, but at the moment it is not looking good as Tyler McRae now takes the lead. That pack there up at the front, they have reformed their single file, and they got an easy way around Simpruge, and they're going to continue to march away from him. Simpruge will hopefully come back out into, I believe, about the second or third. No, he is still on pit road, so we'll have to wait and see how things play out with him.
Yeah, what that does do, though, is it puts Luke Turpin and Shane Briggs back on the lead lap as they currently run in front of Tyler McRae. So that adds 2 more cars back to the lead lap, and that means that now the first 3 cars in that Hornet's Nest are all getting wave around. So that just makes the battle back there even more epic. And we do now technically have a battle for the lead. It's Tyler McRae, Mike Stoddard, Alex Gangler. All 3 of those car Dougs run right in a row right now.
Yeah, and it really looks like these guys are staying single file, and I almost want to say it seems like Tyler McRae is not pushing to get up past Shane Briggs right now. He's not going as hard as he could. There's continues to be that gap, and it really hasn't changed the last couple of laps. It doesn't. Well, now I say that he is starting to close back up to the back bumper, but I'm beginning to think he might just be waiting and letting these guys stay on the lead lap. We'll have to look back there and see, does he have a teammate in that pack that are fighting for those 3 wave around positions?
We'll have to see. And I imagine they're going to have to pit fairly soon, considering how soon Semprich did have to come down into the pits. For Raphael, he is 2 laps down. Looks like he's getting a full tank of fuel this time. He is not playing the strategy game anymore. We'll have to see where it cycles out through for Semprich. So McRae does take over the lead. Looking through the field, looking at that pack of cars that are racing for the wave round spots. Right now, the 3 cars in those spots are Kyle Streichars, Kendrick Pryor, and Logan Jones. Is now Logan Jones on the high side, has help from the weapon Tyler Jalbert, as they are trying to get up there. The 81 of Blake Wynn, he's on the lead lap. He's just trapped in this Hornet's Nest right now. And this Hornet's Nest of cars, Doug, they're actually very quickly catching 4th and 5th place Jordan Babinger and Trevin Birchmere. So this big pack of cars is about to gain those guys. Now we have Kyle Streichars pulling off to come into the pits.
And here comes Tyler McRae just came to pit road. Mike Stoddard is coming to pit road. Alex Gangler is coming to pit road. Looks like Babinger's coming to pit road. Birchmere's coming to pit road. Blake Wynn, Dwayne Robinson, this whole pack is continuing to stay out. So these guys played hoping for a caution that just these guys that are on pit road, they came in, they did not take a full tank of fuel. They were playing hoping for a caution, and now here they are, lap 95. They'll have to do at least one more stop.
Yep, they're going to have to do one more stop, and looks like Blake Wynn's going to come down this time by, and Dwayne Robinson should probably be coming down pretty soon, too. Those are the only 2 guys left on this strategy. And once those guys come down, it will cycle through to, I believe, Luke Turpin and Matthew Bear, who I'm not sure what strategy Bear's on, to be perfectly honest with you, Doug. He's out there all by himself. He's running 30 seconds behind the leader. I don't know which one of the 2 strategies he's on. We'll have to see. But also, Wynn and Robinson didn't come down this time. They're still staying out there, so Blake Wynn continues to lead.
Just taking a look, Matt Bear pitted at the same time as Wynn and Robinson. He's picked up 4 spots since then. And Jones is showing having just now, this is him and Sullivan and Varney seem to have not pitted before now. That cannot be right, but that's what the stats are showing us. So there is no telling what's going on here. But Matt Bear, he can go a lot longer if he got a full tank of fuel last time, as he picks up second place. Now he picks the lead up.
Now Blake Wynn's going to come into the pits. Blake Wynn comes down. Dwayne Robinson's going to become the leader. Matt Bear will cycle through to second. And Robinson, I think, should probably have to come down next time by or pretty soon to that. So Wynn comes down. Robinson now leads his first laps of the race as we get closer to lap 100. And the story continues to unfold here at the Michigan Super Speedway. His strategy has thrown a wrench into this mix. Doug, the 2 cars we really need to take a peek at, though, Luke Turpin and Shane Briggs. When this cycles through, those guys have like an 8-second lead over this pack right now. They don't really have any help right now. They're all by themselves, but it's those 2 cars that are going to be on an island by themselves racing for the lead, depending on what Matthew Bear did.
Yeah, and they've got a huge hornet's nest of a pack coming behind them. If that pack forms up, they're going to gain on them very, very, very quickly. So it'll be interesting to see if this strategy pays off as well. And another interesting note, just looking through the top 10, well, now that we've had a couple more cars pit, the only guys, now that Dwayne Robinson's led a lap, you have to go back to Octavio Rondoletto. I don't believe he ever got a lap led. And Joe Campbell has not led a lap yet. And those are the only guys in the top 10. So I'm wondering if some of these strategy plays for some of these teams are just to get up here and get that bonus point for leading a lap, maybe get a few laps led, get a little bit of TV time for their sponsors, and just playing a little bit of a different game. Maybe they think they can win if a strategy falls their way, but regardless, they're going to get some bonus points out of it.
Yeah, Robinson continuing to stay out. So Robinson stretching the fuel tank right now, further than anyone else we've seen yet. Matthew Bear in second place right now. That car's in, I don't want to say bad shape because he's in second, but he is literally by himself. There is not a car within 10 seconds behind him, and there is not a car within 10 seconds in front of him for Matthew Bear right now. He is absolutely on an island by himself. And the leader, Dwayne Robinson's in a big pack right now, so he continued to run away with it. Robinson looks like he's dropping to the back of the pack this time, though. This might finally be the lap for Robinson, and that would cycle it through to Matthew Bear, the Mad Bear. As the whole field, in about 20 laps, they're going to be getting close to their pit window. So we're just in general getting close to having to come down to the pits here. And it looks though Robinson is going to stay out once again. So the 14 car with some good fuel mileage here.
Yeah, and it's really hard to say what they did on their last pit stop. Did they get a full tank of fuel? I know we've got a few guys out there that didn't, that they were playing, that there's going to be a caution. And up at the front of this pack, it looks like they're working on causing that caution, as the 15 is leaning on people.
Yeah, they are getting aggressive. Kendrick Cryer and Octavio Rondoletto, no holds barred right now. And Cryer puts the finger out the window. He lets Rondoletto know he's not that happy. These guys are just running over each other right now. This is crazy stuff right here. This time by, let's see if the 14 of Dwayne Robinson's going to come down, or does he continue to save fuel? 14 of Robinson. He must be on his own strategy because he's been able to stretch it way further than anyone else. And this time by, he doesn't come down. And this time by, the flagman has the crossbars in hand. Halfway down, halfway to go. 200 miles in the books, 200 miles left to be told.
Yeah, it is getting a bit, as the strategies play out, it's getting really interesting to see how things are going to play out here. Dwayne Robinson continues to stay out. He is at the back of that pack, and honestly, if I was Dwayne, I'd be a little bit worried. They are battling three wide right at the front of that pack. You've got a 32-second lead right now over second place Matt Bear. I'd be backed off a little bit more than he is, just barely enough to hang on to the draft, but I'd be playing it really, really safe if I were him.
Jailbert gets into Rondoletto. Jailbert and Rondoletto, the old rivals, they get into it on exit. Rondoletto's going to hang on to it. The weapon slides in behind him. Don't worry, Doug. Those guys have a long history of hitting each other. They know how to save it by now. Rondoletto's going to hang on to it. Jailbert slides in the line behind him, this time by 99 laps to go. And we are going to give you the 99 to go snapmobile.shop rundown here on all the Dropping Bomb Racing cars. The current highest running Dropping Bomb Racing car is currently running in, it would appear, as I actually have to scroll down the list. It doesn't look like any of them are running in the top 20 right now. The highest running Dropping Bomb Racing car would appear is in 27th place right now, Heather Patrick. Patrick running in 27th in the Dropping Bomb Racing Machine. Then you in 29th have Art Hendren. 32nd, Jordan Babinger. 33rd, you have the one car of Trevor Birchmeyer. 35th, you have the 99 of Tyler McRae. And 36th, you have the 28 of Mike Stoddard. And 39th, you have the 52 of Kyle Strychuk. As that's your snapmobile.shop 99 to go update. Be sure to use code McCray99 on the snapmobile.shop website to get 20% off your order. As right now, the snapmobile.shop cars aren't running too well, Doug. Remember, they all had to pit. They were on that short pit strategy.
Yeah, and we'll have to wait and see if that short pit strategy pays off, because some of these guys that, as this pack that the leader is tailing continues to grow, that short pit strategy might I'm sitting here trying to do some math on it, and I'm wondering if that short pit strategy in the long run will pay off. They, as you mentioned earlier, they were on the verge. You'd have to really be careful to make it on 2 stops. We knew it was possible to do it on 2 stops, but we didn't see anybody stretch the mileage. So stopping, getting that that little bit of fuel, and stretching that as far as you could, and then short pitting again, it might pay off because they'll have to make one more stop. They could split the last 100 laps fairly evenly.
They could. And Dwayne Robinson continues to stay out there. I'm starting to think that Robinson must just be on the strategy with everyone else. But Doug, I have no idea how Robinson, I mean, he was in the lead pack before we had the first pit stop. I just don't get how his pit stop was 33 seconds better than everyone else's, Doug.
No, and he didn't come out in first. That was Rafael Simpruge, and Rafael went as the 14 is looking a little bit low through.
He's coming.
Yeah, he is finally coming to pit road. So he gets a little squirrely onto pit road. He's going to give the lead up as Matt Bear comes around. And Matt Bear, it's 5 seconds back to Shane Briggs behind him as well. This is definitely changing things up because that is going to put some more cars back on the lead lap as well. So the strategy play here definitely interesting, but that was a great move by the 14 car, stretching his fuel out as long as he could, and we'll have to see how that plays out. I think he's put himself in a really good position long term.
Now Matt Bear in the lead, and Matthew Bear in the 19 car, Doug. He has the worst fuel economy on the track right now. He's all by himself. He has no draft. He just has to be foot to the floor right now with no help. That car is burning more fuel than any other car as he cycles through the lead. He did lead a lap early on, so this isn't the first lead lap for him. But the 19 car of Mad Bear goes to the top spot, and now that will put Shane Briggs up to second. Luke Turpin in third as they're in their own little pack. And then all the way back and forth is Octavio Rondoletto as Doug order and justice is restored to the speedway as we're back to about 29 cars on the lead lap here.
Yeah, that those fuel mileage games that some of them boys were playing, they were hoping to catch a whole bunch of cars a lap down. And this pack right here, led by Octavio Rondoletto, they almost made that fuel strategy pay off for some of those guys more than once, as the weapon is right there on the back bumper. Here comes the 15. Those 3 boys are getting a little bit excitable out there. You got 94 laps to go, and they've decided to crank it up now.
Right, well, we are going to take a commercial break here. We're going to look at the XCAL weekly commercial advertising about next week's event, Buck Kicker, and the new Higgins Spotter pack. Stay here. We'll be right back.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. butt kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back from the Irish Hills of Michigan. My name's Speedy J. Zettler, the voice of XCAL Racing. We're here live where Matthew Bear is taking over the lead after some pit strategy, although he is very quickly being caught by an angry pack of race car. Shane Briggs and Luke Turpin leading a pack of a few lap cars. They are right catching up to the bumper of Matthew Bear. It was about 5 seconds just 3 laps ago. This time by the stripe, it's going to be even closer. Let's see what the margin is as Bear crosses the start-finish line now, and does Briggs. It's down to just 1.9 seconds, Doug. Within a lap or two, they're going to get there.
Yes, they are, and they are coming very quickly. It's a tenth of a second, just about every 100 yards almost. They're coming that quickly. These four definitely finally got things worked out as their little pack is hooked up and working together really, really well. Watching them the last few laps, they all duck out just a little bit into different lines, going through the corner, making sure they get some air on the nose for downforce. But as soon as they're on the straightaway, they line right back up, and they are coming up there very quickly. When they cross the start-finish line, it's going to be less than a second and a half. And I would imagine here, by the time they hit the back straightaway, I think they will have the draft off Matt Bear, and I think it's going to be all over for Matt.
Yeah, we'll have to see. They're putting down blazing laps. Like, those four cars know what they're doing right now. The way they're hooked up is impressive to watch. And here they come now, as this time by, it's 1.3 seconds. And you're absolutely right, Doug. They probably have the draft of Matthew Bear right now, as within the next lap here, we should see this pack of cars catching the 19. Catching them is one thing, though. Getting around is another, because there's only 4 cars here. Bear should be able to hang with them and probably continue to race. And Bear does have the advantage of the 454 of Luke Turpin being his teammate. So we'll have to see. And not for nothing, Doug, but we're not too far away from the next cycle of pit stops for most of these guys. They'll probably be coming down here in not too long, as it does look like these guys have now officially caught the draft of Matt Bear. This time by the stripe, Doug, it's going to be the closest margin yet. At the wire, it is down to just point. It's a half second, Doug.
Yeah, and you could almost tell the second Shane Briggs caught that draft, he picked up a ton of momentum and caught back up. Luke Turpin was just wondering what happened as he got a heck of a run, but now they are with him. That has become a 5-car pack, and Matt Bear, he's going to be out there. Haven't been out there a while. He's going to probably drop in line. I would not continue to try and force the issue and lead. I'd drop back there and save a little bit of fuel here for a little bit until they cycle back through pit stops. You mentioned some of these guys will have stopped around lap 80, and they're or 95, excuse me, is when when we started seeing some of those short pit guys hit pit road, and they're going to have to stop sooner. But those guys that can stretch to about lap 135, lap 140, they only have to stop one more time. Anybody who has to stop before then is probably going to have to stop twice.
If this goes green, it's going to be very interesting to see how the varying strategies play out, Doug, and I don't even want to start to think about how I think they would play out, because I don't know. I really don't know which strategy would work how. I just kind of hope they all meet up in a big pack again, I suppose. Shane Briggs has taken over the lead, not only his first lap led tonight, but the first laps led of his XCAL racing career, is now Luke Turpin's going to make that a short-lived dream. He drops to the inside. The 454 of Luke Turpin, actually of these two cars, 2 of the only 3 cars in the field that run triple numbers along with Johnny B. They're going side by side for the top spot right now as Matthew Bear has to come into the pits. Remember though, Doug, that car ran that entire run by himself. He definitely burned far more fuel than anyone else had been burning.
That is definitely true. And, you know, the Halinar Racing team just made a comment that it is popcorn time, and I'm wondering if they deliver. But Matt Bear, he stayed out there for a really long time. He had the opportunity to stay with the draft. I'm guessing he was saving some fuel the last little bit there to wait till the pack got to him and then hit pit road. He still has to stop one more time, so this definitely is going to hurt. But a caution at some point could throw all strategy and everything out the window as Shane Briggs now back to the lead, and he's going to lead this lap.
Briggs back to the top spot. Nice move there by Briggs to take the lead back. Turpin's going to fight back. And, welcome back, my friend. We are here live on lap 115 of the Change.org 400. Still caution-free, knock on wood as I do up to this point. It's been an epic race with many different leaders, many different strategy folds. Right now, it's Shane Briggs and Luke Turpin racing for the lead, and we have actually had an issue here, Doug. A car that was running up in the top 10 has had a connection issue. Tyler Jalbert, the weapon, his receive throughput fell to an unacceptable level. He got kicked from the race lobby. He is no longer on track. We're now down to just 41 cars on the track.
And I had noticed he was blinking a little bit, but that is unusual for him. Mechanical failure, more or less, for him. But that's definitely something unusual to see out of him, and that is definitely going to hurt. He was up there running in the championship. He was up there in points, so he had a pretty good run early on, and looked like he was just laying back, taking it easy there for a little bit. But yeah, it's definitely going to hurt him in the points coming into the night.
Tough break there for the weapon as he has been really turning his season around, getting up there in the points, having some good runs. It's going to be a bad run tonight as there are so many cars on the track. By the time he gets back in here, he's going to be in 41st, and the way we're running, he might not be able to get much better. So tough break there for the weapon as he's going to try to claw to get back in here. It's Shane Briggs, though, that's leading right now in the Change.org 400, as I would say we are probably about 10 to 15 laps away from pit stops here, maybe shorter. Things might have changed due to the way these guys had to run, not in a big pack this time, but kind of spread out. We'll have to see how that had an effect on things. A couple cars to talk about here, though, Doug, that we haven't made much of a mention of lately. Joe Campbell running in 6th right now, Logan Jones 7th, Mason Foster 8th, Marty Zakala 9th. Those 4 cars right there kind of quietly just been staying in this lead mix. They're right there in this battle, you know. Whenever things get back close to each other and we get a big pack formed once again, those guys have just kept their names in the hat here.
Yeah, and Kenny Tripp back there leading a 3rd pack now. But, yeah, those guys in that 2nd pack, they're being led around by Octavio Rondoletto and the 15. Joe Campbell just has managed to stay with Rondoletto most of the night and sneak his way up through the field. Logan Jones, he's actually not been up towards the front very much tonight. He was briefly in the top 5 earlier and then dropped back, never got a lap led. Mason Foster led quite a few laps early on and was contending for most laps led in the first 50, and now here he is back in 7th, just creeping his way forward. Logan Jones and Marty back there as well. Marty has been just very quietly, he's been hanging actually right outside the top 10 most of the night.
Yes, we'll have to see what Marty can do here. And there's some guys running up here who've never got a top 10 before. Sean Andrews, this would be his first career top 10. Joe Campbell would be his first career top 10. Shane Briggs, the leader right now, he's never gotten a top 10. This would be his first career top 10. Some guys right on the outside, Gregorio Doso, he has never gotten a top 10. Ron Walters, Jose Godino. A lot of guys just running up near the top 10 right now, looking for first career top 10s. And I'm curious to see if we get to see any of these guys add their name to that list, as it's Shane Briggs continuing to lead. And this first line of 4 cars, they're hooked up so good right now, Doug, that they're not running quite as... We've had an accident. We have had the first accident of this event. There's a car slow on the track. It's Kendrick Cryer, who was running in 5th. The Cryer car wrecked. It did not cause a yellow, though, Doug.
I am looking to see if we have a replay of that one. A little bit of a surprise. I saw a couple cars coming to pit road, and I'm wondering if that had anything to do with it, but we did not capture it. It doesn't look like
on the front stretch, if that helps you, Doug. A front stretch on lap 118.
And Art Hendren might have been involved as well, as I'm showing something happened to him as he was coming to pit road. See if that had anything to do with it here.
A tough break nonetheless for Cryer, though. He was running in 5th, and since unfortunately you don't have a replay, I'll tell you what happened. He was racing really hard with Chase Johnson. Chase Johnson hooked his bumper, and Cryer got turned into the outside wall, and it ripped his front clip off. And that Cryer car is now heavily damaged, although he has it back going. He's had to bring it into the pits, though, and a tough run for the 15 car that was looking to have a good day.
Yeah, he was up at the front earlier in the day. I do believe he got a couple of laps led, too. And different way that he wanted it to go tonight. He's going to lose a couple of laps here. And depending on how long he needs to stay in for repairs, it could be even more. Hopefully he can get back out quickly, though. And as you mentioned just a few moments ago with Jailbert getting kicked due to connection issues, 41 cars on the lead, or 41 cars still on the track, getting hurt this early on or at any point in this race definitely hinders your chances for a good finish.
So now, after that accident with Cryer, that third pack has even started to calm things down a little bit. Some more guys have come into the pits. We've had varying pit strategy once again, but the chunk of the field is still yet to come down here, as we are calm after we did see that really was the first accident of the race there with the 15 car. We saw a couple spins on pit road, but we did not see like any accidents up until Cryer unfortunately got collected there. That car is being repaired on pit road, and he was able to take fuel, so I'm sure that's helping the case. But he's going to have to sit on pit road for quite some time as they reattach that bumper. We'll see how many laps down Cryer goes down before he gets it back out there. Everyone continuing to turn laps, though, as we're on lap 122 now. It feels as though we're probably within, I'd say, less than 10 laps from green flag pit stops again.
Yeah, I do believe everybody could do about in about 8 to 10 laps. Everybody could make it. As we, from what we heard in pre-race, as long as they're working in the draft, they should be able to make it from about lap 132, 133, and that could shake things up. We saw everybody was still nose to tail early. The first, right up until the first green flag stops, everybody was nose to tail. How we did not have a caution with some 4 and 5 wide racing at that point is beyond me. But that could shake things up. They could split these groups up, or it could be a situation where everybody ends up packed back up together. And there is always still there's some bigger and bigger groups forming. There's always the potential for a caution, putting everybody back together again.
It looks like Shane Briggs, he's pulling off. The 999 car, I think he's coming into the pits. Briggs, the leader, coming down this time by. So Briggs, the first car to come into the pits. Looks like Luke Turpin, though, he's going to try to extend it a little bit further. The 454 is going to stay out. And from the second pack, it doesn't look like we're seeing anyone signaling like they're going to come down this time. It does appear as though the majority of the cars from the second pack will stay out. We'll have to keep an eye on the third pack with Sean Andrews and Kenny Tripp now.
Yeah, and I'm a little surprised. I guess he was just about completely out of fuel because it's just too early. He's going to have to make one more stop, so we'll see if he's got a plan for that. And he came down alone. He's not going to have drafting help when he comes back off. We saw in that first pit stop they came down in groups of 4 and 5. We'll just have to wait and see if this strategy pays off or not. We've seen a lot of different guys lead the race, and I think at this point, if I've track this correctly, we've had about 17 cars lead so far tonight. Is that a record, Petey?
Gotta be close. I don't know the exact record, but I gotta tell you what, it's gonna have to be pretty darn close to that. As I think Octavio Rondoletto might have had some sort of issue. I'm not sure. That car was slow on the track, though, and I'm not sure why. It must have gotten loose or something like that. Rondoletto stays out there, though. Up front, Turpin leads. And if you can make it to lap 132, 133, you can probably make it to the end. And if anyone was going to do it, it would be Luke Turpin. I'm curious to see what happens here now as the lap cars are going around Luke. I think this might just be strategy by Luke. He might want to hang out behind those guys. Because, I mean, if he has to pit, within these next 2 or 3 laps, I don't see it happening before making it to the end. And it does look like Turpin is going to come down this time. He's still going to have to stop one more time in this race, Doug, unless he has some extreme fuel window.
Yeah, and I was just sitting here thinking about how many times have we seen the pit window, let's say, at any given track was, on a short track, was 85 to 90 laps, and everybody came in, like at Concord, I believe it was like 85 to 90 laps, and Luke Turpin went 110. I mean, he's always that much further, so I'm really surprised to see him stopping before what would be the actual window, but then the question comes up, can he go the distance from there? Has he saved enough fuel? Has he tested this? And is this a piece of strategy where when everybody else pits, he's going to be out there and walk away with it?
I don't think so, Doug. I really just don't think he can make it from this point. I don't think anyone can. We'll have to see, though. This big of a track, I just think the window's too big. Let's see who comes down this time. Will we see more of the leaders? And no, it looks like Joe Campbell is going to stay out. So Campbell, as Marty Zakala came down with Logan Jones, Joe Campbell's going to stay out and lead the first lap of this race and the first lap of his XCAL racing career. So congratulations to Joe Campbell on leading his first career lap. As now Octavio Rondoletto challenges back on the outside, as we have about a little 4-car pack merging for the lead now with Joe Campbell, Mason Foster, Chase Johnson, and Octavio Rondoletto. These guys are probably going to have to come down this time by, though. The pit window is officially open, and we have seen a majority of the field start to come down. Still a few guys out there. What's going to be interesting, Doug, is we have to look and see who is going to stay out right now and make it to lap 132. Who's that car and makes it out there? I'm going to be curious to see if anyone can. As this time by, let's see if Campbell and company come down. It appears they're staying out one more time, Doug, so they're clicking away laps. They're about 4 laps away from that window.
And, yeah, I think since the Campbell car has not led any of the laps, he's been behind everybody else for quite a while. He jumps up to the front. He takes the lead. I think he saved enough fuel that he can pull this pack around at least to 1 or 2 more laps. I'm willing to bet that'll put him at about 70 laps left to go. And we did hear that a few of the guys can make it from 70. Rondoletto, usually one who is very keen on strategy and stretching things out. He is up there battling side by side, so I'm guessing he has a little bit of fuel left in there as well, but it looks like Campbell might be slowing down just a little bit. No, he does not go to pit road this time, so they are going to stretch it a little bit further. And now I have to say, Luke Turpin, he came in at too big of a distance, but I did say before the race, when we were talking, I said somebody will stretch it to 75 laps, and I think Turpin would be the one to do it if anybody does.
So Turpin, we'll have to see how that ends up playing out for him. As he is going to cycle through. He's going to be deep in the pack. We'll see how the strategy plays out. Still staying out there is Joe Campbell, though. If Joe can make it 3 or 4 more laps, that could be his last pit stop of the race if he gets a full tank. If Joe comes down for a full tank in 3 or 4 laps, Joe, and not just Joe, that'd be Joe, Mason Foster, Octavio Rondoletto, Chase Johnson, those guys, they'd all be able to go to the end. And also, I believe on that strategy is Sean Andrews, Gregorio Emiliano Dorso, and Aiden McConaughey, Ron Walters, and Jose Gaudino. And it's funny because we see the team pattern again there, Doug. You have all 3 of those J&S cars on the strategy. You have both of Octavio's cars on the strategy. You have both of the Halinar cars on the strategy. And then you have the 2 single-car teams of Ron Walters and Jose Gaudino on the strategy.
And Aiden McConaughey and Cole Patrick just came down pit road, so that we'll have to see if Aiden's teammate comes down pit road next time by, but the 85 ducked down there, so that raises the question on the 57, and, they've got to be running a similar setup, and should have similar fuel mileage. We'll have to wait and see how that one plays out. A lot of different things going on here, though. And, as of right now, there's only 8 cars on the lead lap. We saw a couple of guys short pit earlier, get less fuel, and stretch it out, hoping for a caution. That strategy kind of bit them. We'll see if anybody tries that move again here.
Campbell stays out again. Now it's really in that window where if he can continue to stay out, he's good. He's like a lap or 2 away from where he definitely would be good. I think he's coming down this time. I was going to say, I think if he can make it another lap around the speedway, he definitely would have been good. At this point, though, it's going to be close. We'll have to see, and I think Campbell might even be like running out as they get down towards turn 3. No, he's okay. He still has gas. He's coming down this time by, though. Let's see if Foster and company come down. It looks as though Foster is going to come in. Chase Johnson's going to dive into the last minute. That's going to be a hard stop. And staying out will be Octavio Rondoletto. So it's Rondoletto. He's able to pull it the furthest as he's still going to have the draft help from the lap car of Tyler Batchelder. And Rondoletto now, if he pits this time, that means he would have to make the last pit window stretch 67 laps. That is doable.
Yeah, definitely. We heard a lot of guys say they could easily make the 67, maybe 68 laps. Few guys said 70, so I'm willing to bet that everybody that pitted from lap 130 on can make it. The guys that pitted lap 129 to 130, it's going to be questionable. Anybody that pitted before then, like Luke Turpin, it's going to take a master with the fuel like Luke Turpin to make it go the rest of the distance. We'll see what plays out. Rondoletto now to pit road, and let's see if his see if Gregorio comes down this time. Gregorio's up high. It does not look like he's going to make a move for pit road. And Jose Godino is coming to pit road as well. Gregorio is not going to stop. He's going to stay out.
So it's going to be Gregorio Dorso. He's the one that stretches the fuel window the furthest. Gregorio Dorso, okay. Gregorio Dorso is going to go the furthest on this fuel window. So the lead's going to cycle through to Blake Wynn and Dwayne Robinson. Remember that those two cars were kind of leading through some different strategy earlier. Those two cars are on the track in a 3-car pack right now, also with the lap car of Christopher Johnson. And the lead will cycle through to those two when things cycle through. Dorso, though, still out there on the speedway. You have to imagine he's coming down soon. As the 78 car, I can tell you this much. He's the one car that I'm pretty sure Octavio's good, and I think that Joe Campo will probably be good too. Gregorio Dorso is 200% going to be good pitting from this point, as it looks like Dorso this time by... Yeah, he's not coming down again. He's going to stretch it even further, Doug.
This is crazy. Let's take a quick look at his pit strategy, and yeah, he's on the same. He's been out there for 67 laps, so he is right there in the window and able to stretch it a little bit further. Babinger and Birchmeyer, they both went 28 laps last time and then 37 laps. So they split this distance that guys like Dorso, Godino, and Rondoletto went that full length. So, you know, he could probably make it one more lap at this point if he really tried. And, you know, he's probably got his fingers crossed for a caution. He'd leave everybody a lap down.
He would, and this time by is going to come. Oh, he's coming. He's coming down this time by. He stretched it 68 laps. That's the furthest we've seen anyone stretch it yet. And Dorso comes in to tip off the pit strategy. And now in a lap or two, the lead will cycle through to Blake Wynn. Second's going to be Dwayne Robinson. Third will end up being Jordan Babinger. Fourth is going to be Trevor Birchmere. Fifth will be Alex Gangler. Sixth will be Tyler McRae. And seventh will be Mike Stoddard. As now, Doug, we're going to see all those guys that were on that split strategy start to cycle back through into top positions.
Yeah, and most of these guys can go the distance now, so it becomes a teamwork thing again. And it is worth noting while Blake Wynn is up front, his teammate is just a couple of spots back behind him. Currently being scored, he'll be fifth after it cycles through. So, and looking to see the gap is still quite a big one, but you know, his teammate could get back up here. They worked together really, really well earlier in the race, and if they get connected again, I think it might be over, as we saw those two really dominate the first quarter of the race.
Well, here on One Lap 35, we are going to take a commercial break and say thank you to Tri-E Inc., the Higgins Spotter Pack and Sim Racer coin. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the epic final quarter of the Change.org 400.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back, my friend, to the Change.org 400 here on lap 136 of 200. Still caution-free up to this point in the race. The leader, Blake Wynn, winner of the All-Star race, as he is currently up in front. As we have a moment with a car all by itself. That's Gregorio Dorso on fresh tires getting a little bit squirrely. It's been a while since he's had those fresh tires. That's probably the first time since the start of the race, Doug, that he's been on fresh tires. And I think they took him off guard there for a minute. As the battle for the lead is kind of close, Dwayne Robinson not too far behind Blake Wynn. But really, the issue is not being pushed too much, as the lead pack, actually, the leaders are in a pack with quite a few lap cars right now.
Yeah, and...
Ron Walters! Walters with hard contact. They spin down the backstretch. Oh, the leader's involved. Caution is out. First caution of the race on lap 138 is the leader, Blake Wynn, gets taken out by lap traffic.
And it looks like he's got a significant amount of damage there. Let's see what happens with... Robinson gets spun up there, and several cars collected. We saw everybody going down to the inside, but the 85, the 14, both collected in that incident, and several cars involved that were laps down or in the lead pack, and that changed everything suddenly, as Blake Wynn still being scored in the lead. And let's try and get a close look at his car. His spoiler's a bit bent up, the back end has been up, the front end is smushed up a little bit. He's got a little bit of damage, but he might be okay. He may not have a winning car, he may not be able to pull away in the draft anymore, but and that changes all the fuel strategy and everything else, but that also traps... That leaves 9 cars on the lead lap. We'll have 3 get back around. I do believe it's going to end up being Matt Bear, Greg Hulls, and Shane Briggs. Correct me if I'm wrong, Petey.
Yeah, no, I think everyone's going to stay out for the wave.
Have to wait and see. We've got a couple of guys... We'll have to see if any of these guys on the lead lap. I know some of these guys at the tail end of the lead lap there, some of these guys that are a lap down, they're going to go ahead and stop and hit pit road. We've got a couple of guys out there in position to get waved that go ahead and hit pit road. Blake Wynn obviously hitting pit road. Dwayne Robinson, significant damage to Dwayne's car. He's hitting pit road. Jordan Babinger, he does not need to stop. But he's going to. A little bit of a surprise there. Tyler McRae comes in. Birchmere, everybody's coming in.
Yeah, I expect these guys, remember, Doug, they were all near the end of their fuel window, so this kind of saved them. So they're all going to come down in the pits and get a full tank of fuel. They're all going to be good to go to the end. And now everyone's going to get a wave back on the lead lap. We should end up with 32 cars back on the lead lap when this is done and over with, Doug. And now the issue is a lot of these cars that pitted around lap 125, they can save gas under this caution, but they're probably going to need one more caution to come and get fuel and get back onto the right strategy. But this caution was kind of perfect timing because it's going to put everyone back on the lead lap, and if this race does have another caution at some point, we probably will see the entire field not have to pit again. Everyone should be within the window now.
Add to that the fact that everybody, all these cars, 30-plus cars, back on the lead lap, back together. As we mentioned last week, the All-Star race was just 25 cars. And we saw how the race started up until that first green flag stop. They were 3 wide, 4 deep, sometimes 4 wide, 4 deep. Yeah, and we're late in the race. Everything's about to get really, really, really sketchy and exciting.
I'm excited to see how this ends up playing out. So we'll figure out who the leader is in a minute when everything cycles through. All the leaders are still in the pits right now, getting their gas and whatnot. And now they're going to get going because the leaders start to come around. Blake Wynn, it looks like that car is okay. It didn't have too much damage. Ron Walters is going to get out now. Dwayne Robinson's going to get out. Rafael Semperuch in the pits right now. That caution actually really hurt Semperuch. Semperuch is going to get trapped. It looks like 1 lap down, maybe more. Dwayne Robinson's going to make it off. Alex Gangur will make it off, still on the lead lap. And yeah, it does look like everyone is going to get their wave around now, Doug. And it's going to push up to 22 cars on the lead lap when this all cycles through. Some of the guys did choose to come down in the pits late.
Yeah, and we went to the commercial a minute ago, and we showed off the Higgins, the XCAL Superfan spotter pack, and we haven't really talked about that much tonight. I know you were involved in the creation of that, but there is a little bit of a surprise in there if you can figure out where Higgins is. Can you tell us about that a little, Petey?
Yeah, there's just a little bit of hidden Easter eggs in there that'll help you find the location of Higgins. I don't want to give too much away, but if you dig around and listen to the spotter pack and really use the spotter pack, you'll figure it out eventually if you have a keen ear.
And I will tell you that you can check out the How to Suck at iRacing YouTube channel, and you can hear a couple of races, actually 4 races today on Dirt, Rally, Pro 4, and a race from Sunday where I almost wrecked laughing so hard to that to the spotter pack when I was running Riley's at Daytona, and it is definitely worth a listen. And you guys, if you want a rated R spotter pack, it is the best one out there, and definitely worth a good listen.
It's no doubt worth the listen, as we have one car in the pits very destroyed right now. That's Aiden McConaughey. And McConaughey, that car got the worst of that accident, as his car is very tore up on pit road. So we'll have to see what happens there with McConaughey, as all these cars, there's still wave rounds happening. The leader of this race is going to be Kyle Streichars. Second place is going to be Jordan Babinger, although I think they're scoring Babinger up to the lead now. And Tyler McRae is going to get up there too. This still needs to sort out a little bit. And while this is sorting out, Doug, this is a perfect time for us to catch a word with our in-car reporter tonight, Patrick Sullivan, as we did not have some time to catch word with him. Pat Sullivan, it's PD up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, PD, how's it going?
Good, Pat. Well, you're our in-car reporter tonight, and we didn't get a chance to talk to you because you guys went green for the first 138 laps. What was that like out there, being under green flag conditions for so long?
Getting pretty rough there. We were hoping for a green run right to the end. We were playing kind of a fuel strategy, hoping that we were going to be able to make it, but game's changed now, so we'll see how it goes.
Well, you're still on the lead lap. I feel like that's probably a very important factor here late. Patrick, the thing is, though, we still have 38 of the cars on the track with no damage in contention. So as we're now in the final quarter of this race, do you think things are going to get to another level chaotically?
Yeah, I think it's going to get pretty dicey here the last quarter of this race. We still got at least 25, 28% of this race to go, and I think some of these young guys are going to get a little impatient.
All right, Pat. Well, what's the plan right now for that 16 team? Are you still hanging back for a little while, or are you guys trying to get up to the front of this pack right now?
We're in no big hurry to get to the front, but if an opportunity presents itself, we're ready to go.
All right. Well, best of luck, Pat. We'll let you catch back up with the team. All right. And Doug, that's Pat Sullivan, driver of the number 16, our in-car reporter.
Yep, and he is back there currently being scored in, I believe, 21st position. But we, as we saw early in the race, within 10 laps, if you drive smart, you can get, we saw several cars come to the front very, 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 very quickly. Like Blake Wynn and his teammate in the 82, those guys managed to make their way up to the front and lead. Like Chase Johnson, several of these guys drove their way to the front within the first 10 laps. And we've talked about it, the first 20 laps, we had about a dozen different leaders. So anything can happen here as they get ready to go green.
Yep, so we're going to be going green, it looks like, this time around. Or actually, excuse me, the lights are still on the pace car. Here's how they run. Jordan Babinger is the leader. Trevor Birchmere is in second. Third is Tyler McRae. Fourth is going to be Blake Wynn. Fifth will be Kyle Streichars. Sixth will be Robert Colgan. Seventh will be Chase Johnson. Eighth will be Dwayne Robinson. Ninth will be Luke Turpin. And 10th will be Matthew Bear. As 24 cars are on the lead lap. 25th through 33rd are just one lap down. And then 34th through 36th are all 2 laps down. And then 37th and 38th, 3 laps down. 38th and 39th, 4 laps down. And then the rest of the cars after that are out of contention. 2 cars out of it. Joseph Lester, 43rd behind the wall. Tyler Jalbert, 42nd, is behind the wall. As Paul Coleman Jr. is still out there in 18th place right now. Or in 41st place, 28 laps down. And Aiden McConaughey sits in the pits with a ton of damage right now. That car's going to have a hard time getting back out there. As this time by the flag stand, we should be getting 1 lap to go green, Doug. Looks like we're going to be going green with 56 laps to go.
Yeah, everybody pitted. Everybody can make it from here on fuel. So there is no more question of fuel. There's no more question of tires. And you've got a bunch of cars on the lead lap, and we saw these short runs last week in the All-Star race. This pack is not going to break up. Once they get going, once they get up to speed, everybody's going to be stacked up. I think we're going to start seeing 3 and 4 and probably with about 10 laps to go. I fully expect to see 5 wide again. I don't know about you, Petey. I've got oxygen handy because I think we're going to need it.
You might. This is certainly going to be exciting here at the end. So it looks like we are going green this time by Jordan Babinger, leading his first laps of the night, by the way, under caution. He will be the leader. He is in this championship battle, Doug, so these are some important championship points for him right now. And one thing you'll notice, 3 of the top 4 cars or the top 3 cars, excuse me, are dropping bomb cars. Babinger, Birchmere, and McRae all dropping bomb cars. Then in 4th you have Blake Wynn. And then the car in 5th is another dropping bombs car with Kyle Streichars. So there's a lot of dropping bombs racing going on at the front of this field. And Doug, that lap car behind all these guys, the 21 of Art Hendren, that is also a dropping bombs car. So right now, if you're Blake Wynn, you are going to be surrounded by 5 dropping bombs cars, and you're just one Blake Wynn. You might want to drop back here. Here we go. The iRacing Chevy Silverado is going to make that hard left-hand turn into the pit lane. Field is now at the mercy of Jordan Babinger as they come down towards the flag stand. Green flag in the air. We're down and away, and Babinger hits the loud pedal. He gets that thing going. Babinger has the lead at the stripe.
Yeah, off into turn 1. It's going to take them a while to get up to speed. They're starting to get a little bit single file up here at the front, and Blake Wynn smartly just drops in line in about 4th. He's not going to try and battle this this entire team right in front of him. And those top 4 cars actually got a really, really good start. They are kind of down and away. A little bit of a gap back there to give them a chance to get up to speed, but it looks like that is Kyle in 5th place. He is starting to try and catch back up to the rest of his team. And, yeah, this is actually a lot calmer than I expected this restart to be.
Give them time. They'll get going dicey, Doug. I promise you.
Look right there in 6th place. Chase,
yeah, they are.
Chase Johnson, Robert Colgan, Dwayne Robinson, all sitting there. The 7, the car in the middle, got a bit of a love tap and got squeezed there as they came around to turn 4.
Well, oh my goodness, Art Hendren goes up the track. He almost puts Robinson into the wall, but Robinson, with an excellent piece of driving, keeps it out of the catch fence. Up front, they're side by side for the lead. It's the one of Trevor Birchmere, now with a help from Kyle Streichars. Doug, the top 4 cars are all dropping bombs cars. Those cars racing side by side for the lead, all 4 of them are teammates, so you would expect a certain level of respect here between these guys.
I think what we are about to see is everybody that has not led a lap in this top 4 is about to get a lap led here. I think they can hold Blake Wynn off, they can cycle themselves around, and they can make sure all 4 members of this team get a lap led. We know the 48s led a lap. We know Kyle led a lap under caution. Babinger led a lap. Trevor's now led a lap. And I think that makes everybody, because Tyler McRae led laps earlier. So I think everybody at this point has gotten to lead a lap on that team. So now here we are at just over 50 laps to go. Why don't you drop a comment in there and let us know who you think's going to win?
Yeah, let us know who you think is going to take the victory in this race. Up front, Birchmere now puts the block on his teammate Streichars now as this pack really starts to form. Here comes Chase Johnson and Blake Wynn. Johnson makes it 3 wide, racing with the flu. Chase Johnson, like Michael Jordan in the finals in '97, he goes to the high side. He's trying to make a move here in Michigan. The Irish hills are loud with the sounds of race cars today, and we are getting down to the final quarter of the Change.org 400 here as Chase Johnson battles on the outside for 2nd position. These top few guys battling for the lead. Then there's a second pack with a lot of the other contenders in this race that started to form. We'll see if they can start to close the pack. Luke Turpin emerges from that pack, and we know he has a good sense for what he's doing. Up front, it is Birchmere in the lead. He's being challenged by the 57 of Chase Johnson. Johnson getting the side draft right now off of Kyle Streichars. And Doug, this is Streichars' first race since early in the season. He had some college responsibilities. He couldn't race for a while. But Streichars raced the inaugural XCAL season in 2014. He's a veteran of this league. He's never gotten a win. I don't even think he's ever gotten a top 5. And right now, he is in contention in his first race back, racing up here for the win late in the going.
Yeah, he did a smart strategy play and managed to get the lead under caution, lead a little bit, and now he's up here and he's showing he deserves to be a part of that Dropping Bombs team. It looks like since he is the newest member of that team, he is not getting a lot of love up there. but we'll see how it plays out here at the end with 50 laps to go. I think the teammate thing is going to work for about another 40 laps, but I think with about 10 laps or 20 miles to go, things are going to get a little bit exciting. And just a moment ago, it looked like Brandon Varney went off track. Let's take a quick look and see what happened with Varney. As it looked like he went under the white. He was trying to get around the 9 car on the front straightaway a lap or so ago, and just got off in the grass a little bit. Managed to hold on to it, though.
All right, well, Birchmere is in the top spot now, but Johnson in the high lane. He is not done yet. Johnson getting the side draft. He is trying to make that outside lane work. He has just had nothing doing with it yet. As that Hell Racing team car has no friends. Remember, his teammate McConaughey's wrecked out of the race. He is no longer out there to help chase. And it's going to be Trevor Birchmere up front. Looks like Birchmere is going to get a chance to lead another lap here. And this time by the flag stand, there are 50 laps to go. 3/4 of the way in. The final quarter set to go. Everyone's good on gas. And it's the Droppin' Bombs team that has their cars up in this lead pack dueling for the win.
And we've got just a couple of comments here. We've got Team Gas and Go is being called for the win, and we also have somebody cheering the 48 for the win. Babinger's sitting back there in 5th place right now, and he's got his whole team with him. But, we've got some lap cars in the mix here now, and anything can happen. Robert Colgan now back up in this lead pack as well, and he's got the 74 right beside him. I do believe the 74 is now a lap down.
Yeah, Semprich actually 2 laps down. His strategy just didn't quite work out for him. He's mired 2 laps down in 34th after leading probably 30 or 40 laps in this race. He probably is up there for most laps led in this thing. Unfortunately, he finds himself multiple laps down now because that strategy just simply didn't play out. Up front, though, it's Birchmere leading a lot of these late laps as he has a lot of help from his Droppin' Bombs teammate. Kyle Strychar's pushing him ahead. And these guys running very fast single file. You look back, though, and right now it's about the top 7 are all in a pack. Then 8th through about 25th, Doug, are all under a blanket right now in a big hornet's nest right now. And they're not playing very nice in that hornet's nest. They are beating and they are banging. They are rubbing off each other right now. And while the teammates are running nice and clean up front, just scooting away, these guys are beating each other up.
Yeah, they really are. They're 3 wide in the middle of this pack, and nobody's giving any ground. All patience has gone out the window as it looks like Schwartz got stuck in the middle and almost got sent up to the wall there briefly, and everybody is just going for it all the way. Mason Foster leads that group, but the 454 moved him up to the middle lane. The 454 wants the inside line, and he's going to take it there. And this pack, all of them are just scooting all over the place. The 14 wiggles up in the middle of the corner. Everybody's just moving all over the place. Nobody is planted, and these guys are leaning on each other, beating and banging on each other like it's the last lap.
Yeah, and meanwhile, that lead pack, they have just formed a line. They're running the second group of the racetrack. They are running very clean. They have about a 1.3 second advantage on this pack, but that pack just barely still has that draft, so they're going to be able to hang there. That lead pack is in trouble if these guys can calm things down and catch up to them, because that is a lot of cars that would still be in the mix for this race right now if they can get up there. And you see some of these guys making some moves, trying to make it happen right now. As up front, still single file, here we go. It's the 999 of Shane Briggs on the way high side of the speedway right now, with the help from the 53 of Tyler Batchelder. You even have some lap cars involved in this mix of the fray right now. Batchelder, that car is not on the lead lap. He's the first car 1 lap down. You have Marty Zakala, who's also 1 lap down. Lap cars getting involved in this battle right now. And it's starting to look, though, like this hornet's nest of cars. I think they're actually starting to reel in that line of cars. And the thing is, Doug, there's just so many of them, it's almost impossible for them not to catch that line, because that's like 25 cars in the draft right there.
Yeah, it is, and they are punching a huge hole in the air right now as I believe it's Varney in the 2 car now. He made a power move from the middle line down to the bottom, and he's making a move past Foster. They have closed right back up to the back bumper of the 7 car of Robert Colgan. these guys, they have closed that gap up. The front group has been single file almost since the restart, but with 45 laps to go, this pack back here battling, they're going to swallow that lead pack up whole, and I think things are about to get even more sketchy with these guys battling 2 and 3 wide and bringing the lead pack into this mess. This swarm is getting really ugly as Mason Foster almost gets the back bumper of the 7.
Want to know something cool that I just saw? Dwayne Robinson had an issue, by the way. He's going to drop from 16th to about 24th. But Doug, the 74 Rafael Semprich, he was a lap car up in that mix. He was in front of all those guys. You know what he just did? He pulled up to the third lane, and car the outside wall. That should be a caution. It will be. It was Sean Andrews in the 23. It's going to be a one-car accident. But after having an awesome race all day long, Sean Andrews, hard collision with the outside wall with less than 50 to go.
And it looked like the 01 came up, cut his run off. He tried to duck down and just lost it. He might have gotten into the car to the inside, but the front end on that car is banged up. He wisely held the brakes in the middle of the pack, in the middle of the track, and then got a tow because he had a whole mess of cars back behind him. And this is going to make the lead lap pack even bigger because it looks like Marty, Tyler Batchelder, and Gregorio should get waved around here.
Should. So tough break there for Briggs, or for Andrews in that 23. Looks like Marty Zakala in the 03 is okay. What I was saying, though, about Rafael there, Doug, was really cool. He just let everyone go by because he was a lap car. You don't see that a whole lot. But him being a veteran of 30-plus years on sim racing, you know that guy just has like a certain amount of respect for this that probably the other guys don't.
Yeah, I have, let's see, 23 years. Gosh. And you definitely learn a lot of patience, and you know things are going to happen, and you got to drive very smart. And if you're in a position like he is, your lap's down, there's no point in trying to battle with these guys. If a caution comes out, you know you're going to get waved around, and if you're in that position, and if you're not in the position to get waved around, there's not a lot of point to do it. He wasn't close to anybody else that could take him for position, so why sit there and fight with these lead lap cars, risk being the one to cause the caution?
So let's see. Looks like some of the leaders will come into the pits, actually. Birchmere came down. Strychars did come down. Colgan came down. Turpin came down. Some of these guys are coming down. I really don't know why come down at this point. You want to hear something crazy, Doug? Kendrick Cryer, he was that first caution, he wasn't involved in the caution. He was that car that got destroyed under green flag conditions, had the whole front clip tore off. He's back up to 5th on the lead lap. I don't know how he pulled that off, but he did.
Yeah, he is he is having an impressive run up there. Schwartz just having a heck of a night. And look back up front. Blake Wynn is back up front. And where is Blake's teammate? Because Alexander Gangler now back on the lead lap and back in 12th. So those guys are going to be able to, if the 82 can get back up there, those two are going to be able to get hooked back up. And that's going to be a force to be reckoned with. Now we've got somebody cheering for JNS Racing in the chat as well. And good evening to Richie.
As for the JNS fan, is Sean Andrews of JNS just unfortunately was taken out of the race. But Andrews is just one of those JNS cars. We still have a few other JNS cars in contention. Actually, in second right now, Mason Foster. And back in 10th, Joe Campbell. So a few of those JNS cars having some good runs right now. And you're looking up front, Blake Wynn is going to be your leader. Second's Foster. Third's Varney. Fourth is not going to be Trevor Birchmere. Fourth is going to be Kendrick Prayer with an probable run today. Fifth is going to be JB Smooth, John Schwartz. Sixth will be Shane Briggs. Seventh is going to be Joe Campbell. Eighth will be Octavio Rondoletto. Ninth will be our in-car reporter, Pat Sullivan. And 10th, a name we have not said all day long, Doug, Jose Gadino in the 20 car. He'll be up in the top 10 looking for his first career top 10. As with 40 to go, we're under our second caution of this race. And some new names throw their name into the fold as we're going to restart this thing with 27 guys on the lead lap.
Yeah, and it's going to get really interesting now that some of these teammates are back together up towards the front. We'll see if they can get connected and get back and be a force to be reckoned with here. And another name we haven't talked about, I mean, we've talked about him, but he's not led a lap yet. Brandon C. Varney is now in third in that 2 car. We saw him making some power moves in that second pack to get to the lead of it, and now that now that the whole group is packed back up, yeah, things are going to get really, really interesting. He has not gotten any bonus points tonight, so we'll see if he can get up there and get some points. Blake Wynn has already got some bonus points, but he might be in the position to surpass his teammate and possibly get the most laps led.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this ends up playing out. So Blake Wynn is the leader. We are still under caution. We're not going green this time by. Should be going green next time by with exactly 40 laps to go here. And 40 laps, that's still a pretty good distance here for Michigan. I mean, that's if they had official street stocks in Michigan, that'd probably be the distance of the race. So still quite a ways from home. But these guys have done a mighty fine job up to this point of keeping their nose clean. The problem now, Doug, is with 40 to go, these guys are going to look at that as go time, no doubt. And, I mean, we already saw the intensity starting to pick up. It's only going to pick up more. And, I mean, the big one is just waiting around any corner as we still have most of the cars in this race out on the track. Only 4 cars out of it. Joseph Lester, Tyler Gelbert, Paul Coleman Jr., and Aiden McConaughey are the 4 cars out of it. Sean Andrews also on pit road with extensive damage.
Yeah, and you really got to give a shout out to these guys because these last couple of incidents, it's a miracle that we have not seen a big one yet. The way these guys drove the first 50 laps, I mean, we just kept waiting for it to happen, and it never did. And we've seen 2 incidents that should have caused a big one, but everybody got around it clean, and here we are. I don't know that they can keep it clean another 40 laps. It's pretty impressive they made it this far.
Yeah, well, we're going to be going green this time by. It's going to be Blake Winton down on the low side. It's going to be Mason Foster up on the high side. Brandon Varney will be in third. Fourth, Kendrick Cryer. Can't get over that. He wrecked under green on the front stretch. Had to limp that car back around with a missing front clip. They reattached the clip. I don't know how he's in fourth right now. There's no way that 15 car should be as high as it is right now. But Kendrick Cryer, and probably questionably, has gotten that car back up to the 4th position, and he is in contention here late in the going. Don't forget that car number's won a race this year. It won at USA with Chase Johnson behind the wheel. Cryer trying to get his 2nd win of the season. Here we come through 3 and 4. The iRacing Chevy Silverado truck is going to bring them around the corner. It's going to be Blake Wynn, the winner of the All-Star race in the Gas and Go machine. Don't forget, he was involved in the first official caution. That car crashed with the inside wall, made some decent contact. Couple cars that have been involved in some incidents up here late in the going. They come down towards the flag stand as the field is at the mercy of Blake Wynn, and he hits the loud pedal, green flag in the air. We're down and away with 40 laps to go. It was Foster at the wire.
Yeah, Foster definitely got the better start on this one and it gets a little bit ahead. And it looks like Shane Briggs is already looking to the high side going into turn 1. He's wanting to make it 3 wide, and he's going to. As he gets to the outside, he is trying to pick up a couple positions. And you can definitely, if you get a really good start in these cars, you can get a position or 2 here. But he's going to try and get them all here on the first lap as he's now being scored up to 2nd on the outside of Mason Foster going for the lead here.
A few cars go off down the backstretch. That was Robert Coolgan and Mike Stoddard. They both recovered. We're still going to stay green. I don't think I saw anyone else in there. I'm going to stay focused on this battle for the lead. Up front, Blake Wynn on the low side. High side, Mason Foster. This looks a lot like the opening of the race where those 2 guys were racing for the lead quite a bit. And now you have Shane Briggs in the 999 car. He fans it out to the way. High side, he's in that 3rd lane. He's trying to make the move. Briggs with a good side draft now as these guys race into the corner. What a run on the high side from Briggs as this racing's getting so dicey as we have about the top 19 all within shouting distance of one each other here. 25 cars on the lead lap. They're 3 wide, thinking about 4 wide maybe. They're going to keep it 3 wide for the moment, and it's Briggs in the 3rd line pulling ahead.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. Briggs is making that work up there. We've only seen 1 or 2 cars get up there on the high side alone and make that line work, but here he is. He picked up a bunch of positions off the restart, and now he is hanging on, battling for 3rd, and he gets a run every now and then, especially off turn 2 down the back straightaway. He gets a run as Varney is pushing the 81 across the line down on the apron here. No yellow line rule in effect. So these guys are pushing for everything that they have, and it's a lot of leaning on each other. I'm really surprised by that.
A lot of leaning on each other, and oh my goodness, they continue to run 3 wide, though. These guys throwing all caution to the wind right here. And it is that 999 of Shane Briggs using the side draft to try to get a run on the 96 of Mason Foster. And Foster in the middle line, and that new 96 right for him, keeping things tight as Alex Gangler has a moment there with Tyler McRae. Gangler's going to keep the car moving, though, in that gas and go 82 machine. He's trying to get up there to assist his teammate as McRae runs him up the speedway. McRae is not having any of that right now as they continue to run 3x3x3. It's Foster at the wire this time, but in that third line, Briggs is not giving up, and if he can wait just a little bit longer, it looks like Alex Gangler is coming in that 82 car. Gangler is starting to get a run now as he works that side draft on Tyler McRae. Gangler in the 82 car is the only other car really trying to make that third lane work.
Yeah, and if Gangler and the 999 get connected, I think we'll see some more guys jump up there and give him a hand. But the problem now is that him and his teammate are 2 lanes apart. Even if he gets up there close to him, I don't know how he's going to get down there to help him, but I guess they'll figure that one out when they get there. Is Rondoletto now up the middle trying to pick up some positions here, and the 01 now up in here as well. John Schwartz, we have not talked about him a whole lot tonight, but here he comes in the 01, and he is battling up here in the top 5 as well.
Yeah, now the third lane forms again. They're trying to make it work as Gangler really... Oh, they get so tight there into the corner. They're going to hang on to it. Gangler gets to the outside of Rondoletto. He's pinching that 77 down there. They're side drafting awfully hard. They get off the corner, and Gangler keeps his foot in the gas. Gangler gets the good run down the backstretch. Let's see if he can get back to the bumper of Briggs and help that third line get moving. As, he gets pinched up into the wall by Cryer, but Gangler's there. He gets to the door of the 999 of Shane Briggs, and now they're going to work with one another here as it's, so tight through the corner. Briggs gets shuffled up the racetrack. Slight contact is made. You couldn't fit a piece of paper between those 2 cars.
And right behind them, it is 4 wide. Kenny Tripp there with a whole mess of cars, 4 wide. We've got a couple of dropping bombs guys up there, and they were battling. Their whole team was up at the front now, and it is 4 wide off into turn 1. It looks like a couple of guys are backing off there, but it is 3 wide, about 5 deep now, and this is just getting they've still got 34 laps to go. If they wreck now, they're not going to be able to make it to the finish. But everybody is going for it, and those dropping bombs cars, they are hooked up together again. They're the only team currently hooked up together, so they're going to be able to work their way through, communicate their way through, and they've got a teammate further up at the front that's going to help them get there.
Yeah, this is just very, very dicey, very close racing at the front of this field right now. The 999 car in that third line getting some help from Alex Gangler right now. Gangler giving him a push, and this is just tight racing. As that time by the wire, it was Foster by a little bit over Wynn and Briggs. And as these laps continue to click away, when we get to 20 to go, we might start seeing more 4 wide stuff going on here. We almost do for a moment there with Varney. Varney drops below the white line. They are all fanned out down the backstretch right now as Briggs on that way high side trying to get to the outside of Foster. He does with some help from Gangler. They are now just 2 by 2 as things kind of chill out for a moment, although in the middle of the pack it's a hornet's nest. There's 3 and 4 wide situations forming. As a Godino in the 20 car, I see he's involved in a 4 wide situation right now. And up front, it is Mason Foster continuing to click away some laps here.
Yeah, Godino's been stuck up there on that very high side when they've been 4 wide multiple times now. And now this is really starting to look like a Talladega race. I mean, they are just 3 wide all the way back as everybody's trying to find a way through. The 57 of Chase Johnson just a couple laps ago was looking to stick his nose in and make it 4 wide. Thought better of it and backed off, and it's paid off for him. He has now picked up a couple more spots. He is back up in the top 10 in 9th. He's on that third line. That third line really starting to form now. They've got 3 cars up there as the 82's leading the 99, the 57, and now Godino is up there with them. That outside line is really starting to pick up a group, and they are starting to move. Shane Briggs drops low, and I think he's going to lead a lap here. No, he does not. It is Mason Foster just by a little bit, but that outside line really starting to form, and the inside line, weirdly, is starting to fall apart. Nobody wants to be down there right now.
Oh, it's they're trying to get it back going, and they're just having a really hard time doing it. As Blake Wynn on the way low side, he doesn't have Gangler down there to help him like earlier when they were kind of making it work. And it's Briggs on that high side racing with Mason Foster. Two guys who aren't normally up front racing for the win. Briggs and Foster are dueling here late in the Change.org 400 from the Irish Hills of Michigan. My name's PDJ Zeller, the voice of XCAL Racing. Alongside me, Doug Burns, as we are here awaiting the epic conclusion of this race. A race that's only seen 2 cautions up to this point as they touch doors for the second position, and I don't know if 2 is all they're going to see as they are going 3 wide, and I don't think they have any plans of letting up a big block from Foster there.
Wow, I thought that was going to be caution number 3 for a minute. Shane Briggs just managing to check up just enough to let the 96 get up there. Had he kept his foot in it, the 96 would have been turned down the track, and a lot of the leaders would have been caught in that. And on the bottom line now, you've got a couple of dropping bombs teammates back there that have hooked up on that bottom line right behind the 2 car, and they're going to start pushing their way forward. We were talking about the inside line was starting to fall apart there. Now the 48 of Jordan Babinger leading a teammate around. They're hooked up and looking. They've got a teammate in the 99 up on the high side, and now we're going 4 wide for the lead.
4 wide for the lead. Varney's all the way down. Will they let him get back up? They're going to let him get back in the lane. Barely. There's not much room. Can everyone sort this out? A lot of guys letting off. Schwartz lets off. Wynn lets off. There's still not a lot of room. They make it work somehow for the time being. I don't know how. They can't make it happen like that for 30 laps, though, Doug. I still think there's 15 more laps before we need to see moves like that. Maybe 25 more laps before we need to see moves like that.
Yeah, definitely. Blake Wynn, probably the smartest in that group on that move. He was paying attention to everything going on and managed to back out, get himself in position. But look who's beside him now. He's got his teammate in the 82 car. Gangler right there beside him. He's going to drift up. They're going to try and get connected. They're not connected yet, but give it another lap or so. Meanwhile, up front, Mason Foster is blocking like crazy as Varney gets a run down to the inside, going down to 1. Mason is throwing some huge blocks here, and I don't know how much longer he can do that and keep the back bumper on, much less keep that car going straight, as Shane Biggs is not happy about the block earlier and goes down to kind of squish him.
Yeah, they almost just wrecked in the back with Joe Campbell and Logan Jones. This is getting real dicey right now. They are on the brink of destruction here. Let's see how this plays out. There's still 3 abreast for the lead. Varney down low. In the middle, it's Foster. And Varney slides up towards Foster, almost gets into his door, almost left the inside open for the 48 of Babinger. Varney's got to be careful with that, as he does now get that machine woed back down to the low side. Briggs fights back from that third groove as everything kind of got shuffled out when Varney got tight. And Briggs, with a huge side draft, he will get right back to dead even with Foster, as Foster's been leading a lot of these laps. Foster and Briggs are going to touch. Briggs gets shuffled all the way up the hill, and Briggs gets shuffled into a 4-wide situation where he's going to have to catch himself. That'll make Gangler the first car on the third lane. I'll tell you what, Mason Foster has not been making many friends these last few laps the way he's been racing.
No, he is really not. I imagine there's going to be a lot of middle fingers, and we might even see an infield fight before the night's out, because these guys, he's up there trying to make a name for himself, and he's doing it in all the wrong ways tonight. He knows he's got a car that can win, but yeah, he's not making friends getting himself into that position. He's been running that middle line most of the night, but as he leads another lap, he'll jump where he needs to block anytime the opportunity presents itself.
Gangler, the first car in the outside lane. Gangler's fighting back. First time we've seen the pole setter challenge for the lead since very early in the race. He led a majority of the first 50 laps. Kind of went quiet in the middle of the race, and here we are late in the going. Alex Gangler, he's in connection. Oh, Cryer gets squirrely. Cryer hangs on to it. Everyone gets the momentum killed. Now Gangler's going to shoot ahead to the outside. Gangler on the outside of a 3-wide situation. They are dead heat for the lead in a 3-wide situation. Varney down low. It's the Foster 96 in the middle, and Gangler now losing a little momentum on the high side in the 82. He's going to get it back, though, the side draft as him and Cryer get real tight. These guys are giving each other less and less room by the lap. Oh, Foster goes up to block Gangler. There wasn't a room there to make the block. Gangler does get a nice run, and this is getting so dicey as Gangler and Foster get tight into the corner. Foster really needs to hold that wheel a little bit better here.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be long if Foster continues to drive like this. If the opportunity presents itself, somebody's going to give him the old chrome horn into the wall because he's definitely not making friends and making a lot of enemies out here right now. Just a lot of blocks that aren't really necessary. I mean, even when he's not blocked, can't get the block, he still drives he drove the 82 all the way up to the wall. Oh, and the 2 gets loose as the 15 gets into the back of him. They're 4 wide.
Oh, Varney, man, that was not cool by Varney there. He completely cut off Cryer, and that's going to stack up the whole pack. They might wreck still. Everyone's going to hang on to it for the time being. They're still 4 wide. Varney bottles up the entire pack there. I don't know why he had to come down on Cryer after he got loose like that, but it's going to work out for Foster. Foster's going to cycle through to the lead. Now Ganger will be back on the high side, and I've seen the 2 of Varney slide up the hill a few times too. Both Varney and Foster here late in this going need to keep their car in the lane.
Yeah, they really do. And Foster is just going all over the track. We saw him come off turn 2 on the bottom. He went up to the middle, then he went up to the top, and now he kind of got stuck on the top as Varney gets up here. If he can lead this lap, I think this will be his first lap officially led here tonight. And it looks like he is going to get the lap led, but the Babinger coming to the inside. He's got some fans cheering for him in the chat now. And here he comes, but Varney finally gets a lap led, and Babinger now looking for the lead. He's got a teammate right behind him. They're 4 wide outside of him. The 15 wisely backs off here.
Yeah, the 15 car is happy to be in contention. Look at that. John Schwartz now adds his name to the mix. We have not said a lot about John Schwartz all night, but in typical John Schwartz fashion, late in the going, the 0-1 car, his name is in the ring here, Doug, as Varney in the middle trying to fend off this lead. And on the high side, that 96 of Foster with help from Alex Gangler and Tyler McRae, they are making it happen. Up front, we have about a 19-car scrum for this thing, as they are 3 by 3 by 3 by 3 right now here from the Irish Hills of Michigan, this time by 23 laps to go. Do not go anywhere, my friend. We are going to take our 6th and final commercial break. We're going to hear from the XCAL Weekly commercials, Butt Kicker, and the Higgins Spotter Pack. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the final 20 laps.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back to the Irish Hills of Michigan. 20 laps to go, that time by the stripe. My name's PDJ Zeller, the voice of XCAL Racing, and they are still 3 by 3 by 3 in this mix for the win. And Doug, he was hanging out 19th, about 2 seconds behind the pack with 20 laps to go. This car started to make the move. Doug, Luke Turpin now makes his move as he's challenging up towards the top 10 on that high side by himself.
Yeah, he is definitely coming to the front as everybody starts shaking things up a bit here. He is moving his way through the field. He doesn't have a lot of friends up there to help him, but as a bunch of shuffling is getting done right in front of him, he's taking advantage of every opportunity that presented itself. And I imagine Luke will be the first one to make it 4 wide as it gets really, really sketchy right in front of him. They are literally pushing each other down the front straightaway, but here he comes. He's going to make it 4 wide off into turn 1.
He does. He side drafts Kyle Streichars. He's in a lane all by himself right up next to the wall. Turpin, the lone man in the 4th lane. Can he make it stick? Not that time by, but Turpin's experimenting with it. He's feeling it out. He wants to see what he can do here at the end of the race. He said, well, if they're going to leave me half a lane up by the wall, I might as well use it. Turpin challenging to get up in that high line. Up front, they race 3 wide for the lead. It's Babinger on the low side, Barney in the middle, up top, Foster, and then
we've got a
big wreck. The big one finally strikes. A lot of big names are going to be collected in that one. Caution's going to fly.
All right, it looked like it might have started with Rondoletto. Let's take a look going into the turn here. Rondoletto gets a tap from the 99. 77 goes up into the wall. The 99 trying to recover spins, and that's where we see everybody get collected. And it looks like the 16, I couldn't even tell who all was involved in that. Several of the dropping bombs cars get caught in that. The 16 gets caught in that, the 66. And we'll have to take a look through here. Let's just try and take another look at this replay and see if we can figure out. Looks like Patrick Sullivan, our in-car reporter, got caught. He was right behind it. The 57 is involved. Yeah, the 16 gets spun.
Yeah, heavy damage to the 57. 66 tore up, Doug. Kyle Streichars got some damage. He might be okay. Sempruch collected. Luke Turpin in the 454 did get some damage, made contact with the wall. However, he seemed to miss most of it.
Yeah, taking a look at his car real quick, and it looks like not too bad. We saw him right up by the wall, and everything was happening kind of down in the middle lane, and really the 77 had it gathered up. The 99 just looked like he might have overcorrected and turned the car all the way around to the right, and that's what caused everybody to get collected. And here we have the big one. Everybody was close. We knew it was just a matter of time.
Yep, it comes with just under 20 laps to go. And really the only 2 cars that are going to have their nights ended from that are the 57 iRacing team car of Chase Johnson with a ton of damage, and also the 66 car of Christopher Johnson. That car is probably going to be done for the evening, that car with extensive damage as well. So 3 cars will get back on the lead lap to give us 27. Jeremy Leto, remember, he had issues early. He's going to be back on the lead lap after starting 43rd. Logan Jones and Jeff Edgar will all be back onto the lead lap. And those will be our lead lap cars here late in the going of this thing. And so we're going to have 27 left to duel it out, as looks like, yeah, like I said, Chase Johnson's in the pit getting damage repaired. I'm trying to see what's up with the 52 of Kyle Streichars, if that car is going to be able to get back out there or not. He's sitting in the pits right now, still in the lead lap, but getting a lot of repairs done. Pat Sullivan, like you said, he got a piece of that accident. Patrick Sullivan, he's sitting in the pits right now, getting a lot of damage repaired to that car as well.
Yeah, and a lot of really fast cars up there at the front, now suddenly out of contention here. But now you've got Brandon Varney, who has just snuck his way up here. He was one of those guys that dropped to the back early in the race, has worked his way back up here. He's leading with Jordan Babinger in second. We had somebody in the chat say the 48 was going to pull this one off. He's looking really good. Mason Foster, we talked about it. You and I talked about it during the break. He is not making a lot of friends. And if it comes down to needing a push on the last lap to get the win, nobody's going to be there to help him. He's going to have to change his strategy a little bit in future races. And Kendrick Cryer, who started in 39th, now up to 4th. Trevor Birchmere started in 20th, now up to 5th. And you mentioned it right before that happened. John Schwartz started in 38th. He is up to 6th right now. The Schwartz is definitely with him tonight.
The Schwartz is definitely within him, and isn't this just John Schwartz fashion here? You know, he hangs around all back, all race long, and then late in the going, you look up at the pylon, Doug, and you're like, oh, the 01 car's in the top 5. Where'd he come from?
Every single week, and it's really impressive because he was one also that we saw, I think, on the second or third lap. He dropped to the back of the pack, and he just dropped down onto the apron, let everybody go flying by, and then went back there. And here he is again, back up in the lead, or back up in the lead pack, I should say, and battling for the win here. And when he comes through the field, I've watched his last couple of runs through the field. It's no holds barred. He almost sees the wind. I think he might be a Dale Earnhardt type where he can see the wind because he has just made some moves that most people would think were insane, and he makes everything work.
All right, well, here we come off turn 4. The lights are off on the iRacing Silverado. So we come. Oh, actually, nope. They go back on. They flick back on at the last second. So we're going to do one more pace lap, Doug. That means we'll be going green with 14 laps to go here.
Yeah, and last week we saw in the All-Star race, we saw 3 25-lap segments. These guys know what their cars will do in a 25-lap segment, so they know what their cars will do in a 14-lap run. They are a little bit later in the run. They're lighter on fuel. The car's a little bit faster, a little bit more planted because these tires are a bit heated up. But, yeah, I think this is where we see a lot of guys get really crazy with it, and honestly, given the way the All-Star race went last week, we saw some guys after stage 1 who had to go to the back. The top 4 had to go to the back, and still a couple of those guys made it back up into the top 4. It would not be a big surprise if we've got 25 cars on the lead lap with Octavio Rondoletto way back there in the back. He has got most of his, he's still got some damage, but he's not too terribly bad off, and he could easily work his way through. And Jeff Edgar sitting back there, he was in that group that broke off early in the race. They stayed together. They played it safe this whole race. His car is clean. We've been talking about guys that aren't usually up front coming to the front. Could be Edgar's night tonight.
Could be. If you're on the lead lap, all 25 cars in this lead lap truly have a shot at this thing. That is no joke. That is the nature of the racing here in the street stocks at Michigan. Varney has them crawling around at a very slow pace. He has the field crawl down to 62 miles an hour. Oh, there's a wreck in the back. Derek Colson wrecks. John Friley wrecks. There's a wreck under pacing because Varney had the field slow down so slow. Those guys weren't ready. We're still going to go green. The caution has not been delayed, and we are going to stay green here. Or I think we're going green this time by... No, Doug, the yellow flag was actually thrown out again for the caution in the back, so we did get the delay in time, and it will be delayed one more lap. The pace truck's just going to pass through the pits and pick up the field. Let's see what happened there. It was Colson in the 5 car.
Yeah, taking a look at it, as the 22 checked up, the 5 made sure to not hit him. The 062 got there, and several cars involved in that. A lot of guys managed to get by clear, but I'm imagining that there's some very upset drivers out there right about now, especially at the back of the field. I mean, you had some lead lap guys back there that were impacted by that, and I'm sure they're not happy at all.
It was all because I don't know why, but Varney had them pacing at like 60. And, they're going to give Brandon Varney a black flag for pacing too slow, Doug. They give the 2 car a black flag. Varney gets blacked.
Oh, wow. All right, so Varney has not been up front until the last part of this race. Now he's going to have to drop. Is it probably a tail end of the lead or tail end of the field? I'm imagining they're not going to make him go down pit road.
They didn't yell him, Doug. They just gave him a black, so he is going to... He might pit right from the first position, and Varney's just...
Okay. Let's...
Yeah, I don't know what that was about, and Varney, he is going to pull the car down low on the track, and Varney is going to... Let's see if he just serves the black flag here. Yeah, he's going to come down to the pits. He's going to serve the black, and it got delayed one more time here, Doug. And, so Varney's going to have to come into the pits and serve that black.
Well, that was interesting. I thought we were about to see another incident under caution there, the way Varney ducked down and drove across the grass and then came back up on the track quite suddenly. He calmed down, thankfully, and thought better of it. But now that puts Babinger and Foster up front, and now I imagine a few people in the field are angry with Varney about that. But now you got Foster up there leading the field down on the inside, and a lot of guys up here at the front are not happy with him. But you've got two dropping bomb cars right there at the front, and you've got the 81 right there on the inside, and the 82 a couple spots back on the outside. And then you got John Schwartz right there as well, sneaking his way up here. So a lot of different stories developing here in the last little bit.
What that does is it cycles through to the lead Mason Foster. Jordan Babinger will be second, third Trevor Birchmere, fourth Kendrick Pryor, fifth Blake Wynn, sixth John Schwartz, seventh Shane Briggs, eighth Alex Gangler, ninth Joe Campbell, and 10th Mike Stoddard here as we await the epic conclusion of this one. 25 cars still in contention. It's anyone's race. We're going to be restarted with 12 laps to go. Remember, if we get 5 to go, there will be no more cautions. So we are down to the nitty-gritty in this thing. It's Mason Foster inheriting the lead after a tough black flag was handed out to Brandon Varney. He'll bring the field down on the inside of the racetrack. And here we go. The iRacing Chevy Silverado is going to make that hard left-hand turn. The field comes down towards the green flag. It's Foster having the field crawling at that 70-mile-an-hour pace. The green flag flies. They're down and away, and it's a pretty decent start from both the drivers. However, Babinger takes the lead to the stripe. Babinger does get the better start as that car really starts to motor ahead towards 1.
Yeah, he definitely got a good start, but you notice the Mason Foster was extremely careful on his pacing once the pace truck dropped off, and wanted to make sure he did it right. I'd imagine that's why Babinger got the advantage there as he came down the front straightaway. But now they are getting up to speed and evened out, and we'll have to see what happens.
We will, and there's some cars making dicey moves getting through this field right now. I mean, it's go time, Doug. Everyone knows this is time to win this race. So up front, it is Babinger racing side by side on the high side with his teammate. That's the 1 car. Trevor Birchmere down there on the low side as these guys are racing really tough right now. They are 3 wide. Foster's going to go up the middle. Foster's going to have the lead at the stripe. And Doug, it didn't take him long with 11 laps to go. They're already 3 by 3 by 3.
Yeah, they are. And it looked like briefly those two dropping bombs cars at the front had a little bit of connectivity issues. We saw a driver get kicked earlier in the race with connectivity. So these guys, this is not the best place and the best situation to have a little bit of a connection issue. But it looks like everything is smoothed out. And right there in the middle, we've seen the middle line be the fastest overall around the track. I mean, the outside line's better on the back straightaway. The inside's a little better in the corners, but that middle line overall has been the best line tonight. And yeah, you've got Mason Foster up there, but John Schwartz now right there behind him, and just a whole mess of cars right behind them. And the way Schwartz has been coming through the field, I would not expect him to be back there very long.
Open. They have caught the lap car of Brandon Varney. Let's see where Varney's going to go. He is going to be all the way up high up the racetrack. And it looks like everyone's going to come around him as Varney now tries to duck down and grab some side drafts. They are 4 wide. Oh, that is so tight. Schwartz makes contact with Briggs, and now Varney is right in the fold of this. Varney's going to get up there and race with these guys for the top spot. And Varney, he's angry and motivated right now. And he waited for this lead pack so he could get around and race with these guys. I wonder if he has someone that he's specifically upset with.
It would be really hard to say, and I can't see him being upset with really anybody at the front. I mean, it was the right call to black flag him, I think. Obviously, admin decision there, and, given the way things played out, we'll see how it works. He might be up here working with somebody, just helping, because he can't get the win. He's at the tail end of the lead lap, but if the caution comes out in the next 4 laps, he might be able to get back around to the lead lap. So he's got to play this very, very smart, not anger anybody else.
He is just all over right now. Some of these cars with 10 laps to go, Varney is making daring moves. He cuts the nose off of the 999 car to get down behind the 15. That might be who he's upset with. He gives him a shove there. A big shove Varney gives out to the number 15 of Kendrick Pryor. They are racing up here for the lead right now, but the story unfolding is this 2-car upset with someone. He now makes it 3 wide the hole, and Varney calls that. Schmier goes around, Gangler wrecks, Pryor wrecks, And a pull out of the front of the field, Rex, as Varney. I wonder if that's who he was waiting on.
You have to think that that's what he was waiting on. Let's try and take another look at this. It looked like Blake Wynn actually was one of the initial ones in that. We'll see Blake, a bunch of cars. I don't know that Varney meant to do that. The one car moved up just a little bit, and that started a chain of events. Blake Wynn has a hilarious through the infield there and manages to recover it. Let's see who else we can find that... Take a look at what happened with Varney. Yeah, the one car pushed Varney up the hill. I don't think that was on review. I don't think that was intentional on Varney. I think he was up there trying to hold on and get a wave around, and he just got caught in a bad situation, and it doesn't look good because of what happened previously.
Well, you got to say, too, Doug, though, he intentionally waited after serving the black flag for the lead pack, so you still have to assert some blame onto him for putting himself in that situation they didn't need to be in to begin with.
That is true, and a lot of good cars tore up. The 15 ended up upside down on the infield, so while he'll be able to get back out, his race is essentially done. He has no chance at the win.
Oh, that was a brutal break there. And it looks like at the line, Mason Foster, when the caution came out, had the lead. Second was John Schwartz. Third is going to be Jordan Babinger. Fourth is going to be Shane Briggs. Fifth is going to be Mike Stoddard. Sixth is going to be Blake Wynn. Seventh will be Marty Zakala. We haven't talked about him in a while, Doug. Pretty much all night we haven't talked about Marty, but he's in seventh. Eighth is going to be Joe Campbell. Ninth will be Matthew Baer. And 10th will be Luke Turpin here, as we're going to have a restart, Doug, with probably about 4 to 3 laps to go.
Yeah, and that's going to put us in the position that after that restart, there will be no more cautions no matter what happens. So, yeah, things are going to get very, very interesting. Obviously, there's going to be some questions to be answered after this race as well by a lot of drivers. And I got to tell you, of all the leagues that I broadcast, the most entertaining post-race definitely has to be the XCAL post-race in the Discord chat. Gets rather heated and hilarious, and that does bring us to FU Fridays.
That does. It's definitely entertaining seeing everything that goes down. It is. It's always a blast, and we are going to see how the epic conclusion of this race unfolds. So Trevor Birchmere was black flagged for the accident there, so Birchmere does get the black flag. The accident was deemed on him. The two cars taken out in that accident, Trevor Birchmere, Kendrick Cryer, they're on pit road right now getting extensive repairs done. So we're going to have 22 cars, it looks like, on the lead lap when we get this thing restarted. And some guys that really hadn't been in contention all day long, they're going to be in contention here late in the going. Guys like Jeremy Leto, who we haven't talked about all night, he's going to be in contention. Guys like Marty Zakala, restarting in 7th, he's going to be in contention here, Doug. As this time by, it looks like, are the lights off on the pace truck? The lights are off on the pace truck this time by. If we went green this time around, we'd be going green with 5 to go. Although they aren't lined up properly yet. Let's see if we will end up going green this time or what the situation is. For some reason, Babinger is trying to ride below the 96 of Mason Foster.
Yeah, that's a bit interesting. I was actually watching to see if Varney was going to get a wave around, but if I remember correctly, after 10 to go, no more wave arounds, no more lucky dogs, no more nothing. You're where you're at, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles type thing. So, yeah, looks like he's going to get lined up there. Mason Foster and Jordan Babinger finally settling things there as the lights are out, and they go into turn 3.
We are going green this time by, 5 laps to go. There will be no more cautions. Whoever gets back to the flag first wins it, as long as they do it legally. You can't just intentionally wreck someone. Rules still apply. Here we go. It's Mason Foster, who's led a lot of this race, but certainly hasn't made friends in doing so. He'll be restarting in first. Second will be John Schwartz, the winner from earlier this season at Phoenix. Third will be Jordan Babinger, possibly XCAL's best driver to never win a race. He's right here in contention late in the going. We come down towards the flag stand, and the green flag flies. We're down and away, and that inside lane does get going, but the outside lane gets going too. Schwartz with a good run on that high side. Turpin immediately pulls it 3 wide as soon as they pass the wire, as does Matt Baer. Doug, they're all fanning out. There's 5 laps to go, and they're acting like it is. Schwartz gets a door slam from Foster.
Yeah, Schwartz got a couple of door slams there from Foster. Foster was blocking the wrong line there, though, as Babinger makes a move to the outside. And now Babinger giving Foster a little taste of his own medicine as he runs him up the track. But Foster has the run. And down the inside, 4 wide down the back straightaway as I can't even tell who that is on the inside. It's the 19. They're 5 wide.
5 wide, Turpin has to let out of it. Matt Baer just forced himself into that situation. They're still 4 wide off the corner with 4 laps to go. Here comes Schwartz giving a push to the 28 car. On the high side, Foster, big wreck behind him. Greg Holes wrecks. Everyone keeps it going. Jeremy Leto adds his name to the fold. They are 4 wide heading down to turn 1 with 4 laps to go. Can they make it stick? They go down in the corner. They are still 4 wide all the way around the racetrack right now. They sort it out. They get it down to just a 3 wide situation now. Babinger gives a little bit of a bump there to the 96 of Foster. Foster's not going anywhere. It's Bear with the lead all the way down on the low side, and it's Stoddard now getting the lead on the high side. Here comes Schwartz. Schwartz is going to fill the hole. Schwartz now has the second lane. Schwartz is going to challenge up for the lead. Schwartz is in the hole. They are 4 wide still here late in the going at Michigan. Schwartz gets a little bit loose. Stoddard goes up the racetrack. He gets into Foster. Foster's into the wall. A few of them are going to wreck. Shane Briggs loses contact. Varney gets involved. Leto gets involved. Half the field wrecks. We're down to 6 cars racing for the win, Doug. There's 7 of them with 3 to go.
Oh my gosh, there is so many cars now out of it. We've got a 7-car pack, and I think Foster might be out of this thing, and it looks like that the Gregorio there, he might be back in this thing as he is right there with them. But Schwartz on the outside, Bear on the inside, and here comes Babinger on the high side out of turn 2. He's going to have an advantage here. He's got a bit of a run. If he can get down in front of Schwartz, he'll be able to hold them off, but no, they're going to stay 3 wide down the back straightaway. 7 cars in the lead pack for the moment, and coming off turn 3, the 01 drifts up just a little bit while trying to hold Matt Bear down. The 81 gets punted up the hill. The 81 is out. We're now
lost all his momentum.
Yeah,
he is done. Popsicle sticks in the air, 2 to go. Here's who's in contention. It's Bear on the inside, Schwartz in the middle. Schwartz has a friend. He has Zakala up there. It's Babinger on the high side, and then Gregorio Dorso, Mason Foster. Those are the guys battling for the win. It's Bear on the low side. Doug, don't forget in the All-Star race, it was Bear who was leading coming to the white flag. He didn't get back first. Let's see if he uses lessons from that race now.
Yeah, he's definitely, he doesn't have the 81 up here in contention this time, but it'll be interesting to see as Schwartz in the middle, the 48 on the high side. They're going to come down to the white flag, 3 wide. The 48 definitely had a run. We've got the 28 off in the grass now, and it looks like the 78 and the 99 might be pulling back up into the, or the 96, Mason Foster might be pulling back up into this, and as far back as they are laying, if they can get a little bit of a draft on this last lap, white flag in the air as Babinger leads the coming to the white flag.
Flag in the air, 1 lap to go. Get out the photo finish cameras. It's Schwartz in the middle using the side draft. He pulls ahead in the middle of 1 and 2. The Mad Bear on the low side trying to keep that thing stick. He has the help right now from Zakala, but will Zakala drop up high to help his teammate Schwartz? On the way high side, it's Babinger trying to get his first career win. Here they come. Does Dorso have a shot at it? Babinger's clear. Babinger pulls down to the low side. Babinger takes the lead. He throws the block. Babinger throws the block on Bear. Here comes Schwartz. Schwartz is only the hope in this race. Can Schwartz get a run off the corner? Him and Bear touch. They slide off the corner. Babinger goes up with the block. He blocks Schwartz. Schwartz has nowhere to go. And for the time in his XCAL Racing career, finally Jordan Babinger gets to take the checkered flag home, Doug. It's Jordan Babinger, finally. John Schwartz took home second. It was Matthew Bear in third. Zakala ended up fourth in what was a great finish. What a run there for Babinger.
Wow. Yeah, Babinger just, he kept making that outside line work off of turn 2, getting that run down the back straightaway, and when he just barely, I don't think when he came down, I don't think there was an inch between those cars, but he gets down and gets the block. He gets a little bit of a push from behind, and then he was able to hold everybody, block everybody, and make it work, getting his first XCAL win here tonight as they got a little wild back behind him. And there was so much going on those last few laps. It's just incredible that these guys, that many cars came home in one piece in that pack.
For the first time, it's going to be a Dropping Bombs racing car going to victory lane 2. They finally get their victory, Doug. as it's Jordan Babinger, and Jordan's probably the best driver in that. I mean, Tyler McRae, a lot of those guys are good, but Babinger's been so consistent. He's been in so many races. He's come close so many times. And what a move, Doug. His spotter, there's no way his spotter told him he was clear down the backstretch, Doug. That was all instinct when he came down and cut the nose off of Schwartz and Bear. But that ballsy move he made just based off of instinct is the reason that car is going to victory lane right now.
Yeah, you're right. There's no way a spotter is saying clear from any angle on that move. As the 7 car lost a wheel with 2 to go and was limping around. He's now got some help getting him to pit road. But Babinger, that was a gutsy move. Great move on his part. You don't see that move work out very often, but he definitely made it work tonight, and he has got a lot to celebrate. Getting the first win for the team, getting his first XCAL win, huge night for dropping bombs, and an even bigger night for Jordan Babinger.
All right, well, I am getting ready to get down here on pit road, and I'm down here with our third place finisher, Matthew Bear. And Matt, a lot of good runs this weekend for you in Michigan. Weren't able to quite close the deal here tonight. Still a good, solid third place points run. Tell me, though, what were you thinking coming down the backstretch when Babinger was able to clear you guys and throw that block? Did you think you'd have any shot at it again coming off of 4?
Yeah, I mean, I knew it was going to be close. I knew that I had the 03 or 01 up on my top side right there, and he was going to pinch me hard right there. So I was trying to get as high as I could going into 3 to try to get a run coming out of 4, and he pinched me good. I mean, but Marty pushed me amazing those last 5 laps, so I definitely have to give a thanks to him for that, because without him, I'd get railroaded right there at the end.
All right, well, Matt, a good points run, though. Third place for you. You're going to continue to climb up the leaderboard. I know you had a couple of bad weeks, a lot of bad luck. Does it feel good now? I know the All-Star race, that was disappointing to lose because second place meant nothing. Today, third place does mean something, and for your team, certainly a good turnaround run after a rough couple of points races.
Yeah, man, definitely. We needed a good top 5 finish right here. I mean, told Marty I was going to try to go for the win right there. Put myself in the position to. 48 just made a great move right there coming down into 3, though, and he gave me no shot to get to him. He cleared me, and he was gone. So, I mean, definitely needed the points today. That's big for us right there. Get us going back in the right direction and go for the championship second half of the year right here.
All right, Matt, well, before I let you go, celebrate a good run at Michigan with your team. Who do you got to thank for sponsors, crew, and everything else on that 19 car?
Yeah, man, I just want to thank everybody at XCAL that puts this show on. How to Suck at iRacing, everything that you guys do every Tuesday night, put on a good broadcast for everybody. Whenever I get done right here, I'm going to go check it out and watch the whole thing, even though I know that the middle part of the race was kind of boring there for you. We try to put on a little show there for the end.
All right, well, that was our third place finisher, Matthew Bear. And now, Doug, I think you're down with our second place finisher, John Schwartz.
Hey, John, congratulations on a second place finish, especially considering you started back in 38th and took it pretty easy the first half of the race.
Yeah, that race, I was expecting it to be like 3.5 hours, like super long, and when we were just breezing through those first 140 laps green, I was just like waiting for a caution because I was just stuck way back, and I was just trying to figure out some fuel strategies that would put me up front. Luckily, I only took half a tank of fuel at one of my pit stops, which was able to put me near the front and not a lap down, and so just being able to get back on the lead lap with a nicely timed caution was just super lucky for me. I mean, it was just being in that backpack, like just around like the 30th place, we just really couldn't get the momentum up, and instead of being single file, we were just kind of going like side by side and just losing time. So I was hoping to be safe by hiding back in the first start of the race, but when it just went green, I realized that was a bad decision. So just trying to work through the field those last 50 laps and just to have a shot at the end was just incredible. It was unfortunate those last 5 laps that we just the field started to fall apart and we didn't really have much momentum in each of the lines. But yeah, I just tried my best. It's really unfortunate after the All-Star race where we got like a top 3. We couldn't get the win. I felt like that was repeated today, but I gotta give credit to Babinger for the win, and that was just a nice move and getting the momentum on the high side. So yeah, happy with second overall, and definitely coming from the back, good achievement.
Yeah, and you did get a lap lead, so you're going to get some bonus points out of that. And additionally, I mean, a second place finish in a points race tonight, huge for you. And we talk about it several times tonight, but you are always the one we don't expect there at the end. You hide out in the back and you make your way to the front. So congratulations. And I had to make the joke, and I'll tell you now, the Schwartz was with you tonight, bud.
Thank you very much. Definitely got to thank my sponsors, GTR Simulators, First and 15, Phoenix 7 Esports, and of course XCAL Racing. So we hope you guys put on a great show, and hopefully put up some exciting racing for you to commentate on.
All right, congratulations. Petey, are you
Thank you.
down with our winner?
I am, Doug. I'm down here in Victory Lane where the champagne is flying, and Jordan Babinger has climbed out of the car. And for the first time in his XCAL racing career, Jordan Babinger, you're finally victorious. Tell me what it feels like to finally win one of these things, because I know you've been a bridesmaid a million times in these XCAL races.
Yeah, I mean, man, that was a heck of a win there. Snap Mobile Shop car was running pretty good. Had a lot of help from Trevor and Mike there at the end. It's too bad they got caught up in some in that wreck, because we all would have been there, I think, at the end. But yeah, it's definitely not easy to win one of these races. It's still competitive in here. But finally glad to get it out of the way.
And Jordan, I got to ask you, coming down the backstretch on the last lap, you made a bold move to make the block on the inside lanes. Did your spotter tell you were clear though? Did your spotter tell you that you were clear there, or was that just all instinct? Because it looked like such a quick move, I kind of figured it was just all instinct.
Yeah, I mean, I hardly ever use the spotter because I can't rely on him, so I just rely on using myself as a spotter. But yeah, I seen I was just barely clear, and I figured I should drop down there. But I knew that third lane was going to be the lane to be in. I learned that in the heat race.
And for you, Jordan, your team, Dropping Bombs Racing, you guys obviously have a lot of good cars. You put a lot of cars in the field every week. But you guys, as a team, hadn't won a race in XCAL yet. So for you, not only how does it feel to get the first win for Dropping Bombs Racing, but also we're at the halfway point of the season, and after this win, you're going to take the points lead back too. So really a ginormous night here for you and the DBR team.
Yeah, it's a big win for us. Yeah, but halfway through the season, like you said, so we still got a lot of racing to go, but it was good to get that win off our back. And yeah, I just want to thank XCAL and you guys for putting these races on, and Butt Kicker and K2 Sauce and Sim Racer. Just really appreciate you guys putting these up so we can race and have these fun races.
Hey, Jordan, just a quick note. You had a couple of people cheering for you in the chat tonight. You had Missy and Richie West cheering you on, and Richie called you winning it 25 laps to go.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Missy, that's my sister, so I usually watch.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, Jordan, before I let you go celebrate with your team, Jordan, is there any sponsors, crew, or anyone else you'd like to give a shout out to that you haven't got the chance to yet?
Just snapmobile.shop and Tyler McCrae and Trevor for working with me there, and Mike, he helped me out a lot, and Steve, Art, and Sean. So thank those guys.
All right. Well, that is your feature winner. First time feature winner tonight, Jordan Babinger. He gets it done from the Irish Hills of Michigan. And Doug, after a race that started with a 140-lap green flag run, just an epic race all around. Well, what a great finish there, and what a great time to finally see a first-time winner in Jordan Babinger, a guy that came close so many times.
Yeah, he's been really close countless times and just not had the luck there at the end. But tonight, great gutsy move on the last lap. And you talk about what a great race it was. I mean, 150 laps, we only had 2 cautions. And then in the last 50 laps, we had another couple of cautions. But that last 50 laps, I mean, the first 50 laps was pretty crazy, but the last 50 laps was insane. And it was definitely a wild night. And the guys put on a heck of a show. And Babinger's first win for his team, taking the points lead. Huge night for Dropping Bombs.
A big night for DBR. Oh, what's up, Marty?
What's up?
Oh, nothing much, Marty. We're just wrapping things up here on the broadcast. I have to give our sponsors a quick shout out here. But I did just want to say, I lost my complete train of thought. Good finish there. Great race all around. Not a lot of cautions. I was just glad to see that we still had some cars survive that big wreck there at the end. And yeah, that pretty much should wrap up things here from the Irish Hills of Michigan. As I do want to make a quick shout out too, we had a few cars finishing in the top 10 that we didn't give a shout out to with really good runs tonight. Kyle Streichars in his first race back brought the 52 car home in ninth. Gregorio Dorso, he actually got a top 5, a 5th place finish, his best career run by far for Gregorio, so a great run for him. And Jeremy Leto unofficially brought his car home in 11th, which ties his season high finish, and Joe Campbell with
Race
a career
control
best
unit.
14. So a really just overall a great night for XCAL Racing as a whole. And that'll pretty much wrap up things though here from the Irish Hills of Michigan. On behalf of myself, my name is PDJ Zeller, the voice of XCAL Racing. Thank you to Doug Burns and How to Suck at iRacing. Doug's the guy pressing all the buttons, making the broadcast happen. Without him, I would just be a voice talking into nothing. Thank you to Aaron Hillbush and everyone at XCAL Racing who puts these great races on. Thank you to all of our sponsors, Butt Kicker, Tri-Ean Inc., of course, Sim Racer Coin, K2 Sauces. We have so many great sponsors. You can see them all at the www.xcalracing.com website. And of course, thank you to XCAL Junior Admin Bowen Smith. And congratulations to tonight's first time winner, Jordan Babin. We will see you next week, same time from the Thompson Motor Speedway. Take it easy, my friend.